One.
Let's go!
This show fucking stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it.
AJ, never cease to amaze me with your toxicity, pal.
You got a couple of these?
God damn it!
What the fuck are you doing?
Fuck Boston.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to our humble abode, the FanDuel Thunderdome on this Coach P and Everything DB. Thursday, February 2nd, 2023. We start now. Football! He is going into its Pro Bowl weekend, and then the Super Bowl will be the weekend after this one. And we'll be live from Radio Row in Arizona from Monday through Friday with the guest list being packed to the gills. Cannot wait for that. Cannot wait to chat with the boys today. The Talks and Tables here at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer, Dahn, the Cowboys Tone Diggs is here. Everything DB host and 9-year NFL vet, host of the Man to Man podcast and NFL matchup show on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and ESPN2. Darius J. Butler. Hell of a season out of UD, but and also hell of a season of this man who's traveled in every single week to give us a breakdown of what it would be like in team meeting for these Thursday night matchups that we had all week. Ever since those Thursday night games ended, which Herbie and Al got paid.
Oh, my God, so much.
Extraordinary.
I don't want to ever, look at somebody's pocket, but what was allegedly being offered to Sean McVay for those Thursday night football games that ended 4 weeks ago, and didn't even have the first week? Hilarious. Incredible work by them.
Or Thanksgiving.
But since Thursday night football stopped, this man has just been joining us for conversation. We're lucky for it, ladies and gentlemen. Coach Pagano.
Hey,
Coach, how you doing, pal?
Doing great.
That's great.
Good to be back.
You
again.
look fantastic. Nice haircut. Looks high and tight in there.
Yeah.
Got cleaned up a little bit for you.
Tan's going. Are you always this tan because you're Paisano, or do you go in the sun a little bit?
It's the blood.
No, just the blood? You're from southern Italy there, huh?
I think so. But remember, 23andMe, I think they said I was 3, 4, 5% was all.
Jeez Louise.
Wow.
But who can believe that? I mean,
Everybody.
right. So those two guys in the basement, right? They're laughing all the way to the bank. Whoever that.
I'm like, I mean, there's a Chuck. I didn't know. Hey,
you got more than I do.
You're going to have to watch yourself when you're talking about the gravy. Maybe I should be telling you about what the gravy is. No, we're very thankful you're here, Paisano.
Great to be
and you've added to our show tremendously. I'm thankful to be back. Yesterday I was battling a little bit of a stomach bug. Went through me like 24, 30 hours or so. Had a fever, destroyed some toilets. I'm talking about destruction of some toilets. Had a little bit of a fever. That thing broke at like 1 a.m. this morning. Woke up drenched in like a pool of my own sweat. This morning I woke up feeling fantastic. I appreciate all the kind words, and great job to all the boys for the show yesterday. You guys crushed it. Absolutely crushed it. I watched from home. I fell asleep. I destroyed a toilet. I watched a little bit more. Fell asleep. It was a little bit of a cycle. It was weird not being here. Felt like a year. It was only a day. I'm thankful to be back. A lot has happened since my disappearance just 48 hours ago. Tom Brady has officially retired again. I got a chance to hear you guys talk about it, but when you're talking about personifying greatness, it's like, who can be great the longest? That man over 2 decades was able to remain at the top of the NFL. 7 Super Bowl wins, obviously. A guy that will never be matched or ever have an equal in the NFL. Jeff Darlington said he was either going back to Tampa or he was going to retire. Now, there was obviously other reports that were saying anywhere but Tampa, and he's not going out like that. That's seemingly not true from a Miami Beach with a little bit of an emotional Tom. It wasn't easy for him to say. As I was listening to it, I was wondering, is Tom acting here emotional? And then it seemed like, no, that was genuine emotion, which means he truly does care. Did he have to have such a bad game the last game for it to really smack him in the face? Hey, this is it? Potentially. But nonetheless, Tom, thank you for your service to the NFL, sir.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Love you, Tom.
You know, I saw some Colts fans after I quote tweeted his retirement, and I said, thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
You know, because that's all you can really say. A man that has dedicated his entire being to being an NFL football player, to try, to just every day try and wake up and be better than you were yesterday for the good of your team, for the good of your legacy, for the good of the league. This is a man that we need to honor and say thank you to. There's always going to be clauses around people that are great at things that they're great at. Michael Jordan, there's always going to be conversations around Michael Jordan about what went on off the field. There's always going to be conversations about Tom Brady, about, does his ball have as much inflated air inside of it as everybody else? Were they stealing signs from people? Were they doing all this? And all these convos only happen because of how goddamn good he is. Everybody assumes you can't be as great as this guy was unless you were cheating. I assume there was some little dancing around the rules that were taking place, but that is obviously demeaning the work ethic that this dude has had. Committing every part of his life to becoming a better football player. I got a chance to go through the TB12 treatment one time, because of how bad it fucking hurt. This dude traveled into Indianapolis once a week to work on Adam Vinatieri, who has been a part of the TB12 treatment plan since the days whenever he was back in New England. This guy would travel town to town, you would pay him a fee, and he would work on you. It was basically the TB12 way before the TB12 thing existed. Adam Vinatieri paid for my first visit with this TB12 guy that came into town because Adam Vinatieri was looking out for me. He was a good vet and said, hey, this is what I think you should need to do if you want to prolong your career. I'm not a very flexible guy. Don't believe in a lot of the shit, I think a tighter gum band is a little bit quicker reaction than a loose gum band.
Sure.
And I've been able to bomb balls. Why am I going to change anything? This dude worked on me for an hour and a half. I was so fucking sore. We're talking about digging elbows into the muscle that was above my shin. We're talking about like a metal rod in my hamstring and in my calf and in my quad and in my whatever this thing is. What is this?
IT band.
Your IT band and this. And then, oh yeah, we got another leg we got to do this to. I'm like, I don't think so. So I go through this entire thing. It hurts like hell. I thank the man. Have a good one. They give me some electrolyte drops to put in there so I can remain what's that called? They're pliable. The pliability of my muscles can remain with these particular drops, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. I wasn't cut out for it. That was way too much of a commitment. That hurt way too bad. But he did that for 20 fucking years. Yeah. Every day of his life getting beat up and torqued on and eating avocado ice cream, which has to taste like shit, and all the food that he kind of cut out of his life so that his body could remain at the highest possible level so he could continue to compete. We have to be thankful for that fucking guy. And our league was lucky to have Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. A part of it for so long. I can't wait to see what he does next. I don't think Greg Olsen should lose a seat to anybody, let alone a guy that's getting paid $375 million. But incredibly proud to know that Tom Brady was in our league and he wasn't in yours.
Oh, yeah. Love you, Tom. Thank you, Tom.
Coach Pagano, obviously you didn't get a chance to react to this whole thing. This dude was a fucking nightmare for everybody. What were your thoughts on Tom Brady's retirement and him as a player?
Yeah, he was a nightmare, and I know there's a bunch of defensive coordinators out there that are still coaching that are extremely fired up that Tom's retired, but he's the best that ever done it, and it was a nightmare getting ready to play him, and he just always got him in the right thing. And right when you think you had him, he'd make a play on you, and we would go into game planning. And we would literally walk in a team room, like when I was in Baltimore and we're getting ready to go up to New England and play those guys. Hey, guys, we got to change all of our signals. This guy knows all of our signals. So this meant, hey, this is a box, right? We're in quarters. We're going to box.
Video camera. Yeah.
And so then, 3 days later, nobody knows what the frick we're doing. Just because of that dude, just because we thought he had everything down pat and anything we did, he was already going to have all the answers to the test. Oh, yeah. And so we waste all that time on coming up with new signals, only to have those guys, Eddie, Ray Lewis, we did it here in Indy, have the guys come in, D-Buck come in and go, Coach, what are we doing? We just waste a bunch of time. We don't have any idea. Nobody has. These young players that we're playing with, they have no idea what we're going to be in. So I don't care if he knows, if we know, okay? If we're all wrong, we're all right. That gives us at least a chance. But unbelievable. I didn't win a lot against this dude. I didn't have very many opportunities to celebrate. My last game that I coached against this dude, I was in Chicago, and it was 2020. It was COVID. Nobody in the stands. Yeah. We beat these guys on Thursday night. Yeah, remember? And it was 20. We won 20-19, and there was that.
That
fourth down deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
tricked them.
You got him.
No, I don't think so. DHC.
How good of a feeling? That's the type of guy he is, though. Like, listen to you coach for what? 30? How many years you coach for?
A lot.
He's like, beat Tom.
Yeah.
Like, that's the type of guy he was. That's the type of player he was. And obviously, it's being echoed by everybody. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. And then you got fans that are like, no, no, no. And then Francesa on the Mike and Mike.
Of course.
Reunion.
Mike and the
Reunion
Mad
thing.
Dog.
He said, yeah, there it is. Mike and Mad Dog. Mike and Mike is Greeny and Golick.
Right.
And I don't think Mad Dog's name is Mike, is it?
Chris.
Chris, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So it was nowhere near Mike and
Similar.
Mike.
I knew what you meant.
The Mike of the Mike and the Mad Dog show, Francesa, was on First Take yesterday, and he said he's not the best.
He's not the best regular season quarterback. He's not the best playoff quarterback. So I don't know how you can call him the best quarterback of all time.
But I think
Played the longest.
every human that's ever played or coached in a league would say he's the greatest of all fucking time. Yeah. Why is that, Darius? Why was he the greatest of all time? Other than just winning 7 Super Bowls, what was it about on the field that made him different than everybody else?
That's what it was about. Every time he showed up, he's going to be prepared, going to have all the answers. Similar to the Peyton Manning, who I think Sports Pope called the greatest regular season quarterback of all time. But being in that New England locker room, even with the how high the sense of urgency always was when we play another great like a Peyton Manning, like everything just goes up. And like to Chuck's point, so much so sometimes when you end up fucking yourself because very similar to Foxy when you're playing him in 33. When you pass the motherfucking ball out to the corner, he's going to hit, he's going to show up. And that's the same thing with Tom Brady. I actually said it to Foxy yesterday. 3rd down, red zone, 2-minute. Like, he's always going to be prepared, and everybody that's on the field with him is going to be the same thing. Practice, meeting rooms, games. And that's greatness. He wasn't like a Trevor Lawrence or a Peyton or one of these guys who were like, oh, yep, that's the guy from the time they're 13 years old. He's relatable to everybody. You saw his body at the combine. He went 199. He got his chance, and then he just prepared, worked his ass off, was coachable. So as a teammate, that's important. When you walk into a locker room, you see Tom Brady in the front of the room taking notes. You see him getting put on the low lights, getting called out by Belichick. That goes a long way throughout that locker room, similar to MJ and Phil or Tim Duncan and Popovich. So it's a lot. You go on and on about Brady, but he was a dog.
I wonder if it'll come out that Belichick and Tom talked before all those meetings. And Bill asked him every single time, hey, I'm going to put this up there. Is that all right with you? Yeah. Obviously, I assume it wasn't talked about, but that would be a cool little niche thing that it came out like. Actually, they had the most amount of respect for each other every single time he was put on those low lights because that was talked about. Him being able to be yelled at is a trait that is good for being a quarterback. Him taking less money is a trait that is good for him being a teammate. Like, everything about him just personifies being a great NFL quarterback. The team loved him. Yeah. Vinatieri used to tell stories about he and the boys would go out and have a great time. Like being relatable, that's not just being like a drafted at 199 and working your ass off. It's also off the field, hanging out with the boys, and also utilizing what you can do that nobody else can do and having your boys benefit from it. Yeah. There's trips that Tom Brady gets a lot of guys to go on that they would never be able to go on. That only builds up the team chemistry and camaraderie and the respect that a guy has. Everything about him is great leadership and football player. I fucking love him. I'm a massive fan of his, and whenever I put the thank you, Tom, had some Colts fans going, fuck this guy, happy he's out of the league. It's like, certainly can be happy he's out of the league because he's not going to play, but you can't not respect the guy. Like, he is the GOAT for a reason. I didn't even like Francesa saying that yesterday. Like,
hated it.
I get it that
wild.
you can say that. I get it that you can say that, but come on, it's the day the guy actually retired. Now, a lot of people saying he's being a little dramatic. There's people that think he's not actually retired. I was watching Around the Horn yesterday.
Sure.
Tony Rawley's show.
Yep. Dominated. Great guy.
In Israel.
Izzy Gutierrez.
Gutierrez.
Yep.
He said he doesn't think he's actually retired. He said he thinks in July a team will be able to get him out of retirement or whatever. There's no way that is the case.
No.
No way. Now, have crazier things happened on planet Earth before? Yes.
Absolutely.
Guadalajara.
But Tom Brady, who has $375 million. What's that?
UFO just spotted there. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I heard it.
That is crazy.
It was a big one.
That was crazy.
That was the most recent one. There was also this big...
the black circle in the cloud. Sorry.
in Hawaii.
I don't mean to derail it, but
no, that was SpaceX, they said.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
It's all SpaceX.
New Falcon launch.
Everything is.
Crazy shit happened.
So he could come back, is what we're saying.
For sure. The movie comes out this Friday, too, by the way.
80 for Brady is going to be so fucking good. We're all going to go see it. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we rented out a theater, right?
Yep.
Yeah, for...
oh, did he retire for the movie?
Yeah, and
Potentially.
is that why he can now cry on
Yeah, it was
command?
part of the
Because his
script.
acting chops. Perhaps, but...
There's no way he comes back after this, especially
way.
with him planning on getting into the TV industry.
Mm-hmm.
If he was going to disappear, from the limelight and disappear from life or from the public eye, I think then you don't have to worry about what the public image is of you, two-time pump faking and retirement. But that's not a good brand that Tom Brady wants to be a part of, somebody that can't commit to something. He spent his entire career the complete opposite of that, completely committed. The discipline that he has had to display throughout his entire career is crazy. So his commitment to something could be judged if he was to backpedal on this, and more people would hate him. I don't think that's what he wants to do. No. I think there's no chance he comes back after this one. And I appreciate the fact that he just did it with a selfie video.
Yes.
As opposed to some concocted shadow lion.
Yeah.
Is that
That's the group.
the shadow lion
Montage.
video or anything like that? I appreciate the way it was, how it went, and I'm happy as hell for him.
Yeah, now that it's over, it is kind of crazy looking back on it and seeing those years stacked up and what he was able to do. Like the stats about his 20s, 30s, and 40s with how, how many yards and passing touchdowns he has and just the amount of seasons he's played just in the playoffs. I think it's like 3 seasons or something.
3
like
total,
that.
yeah, 48 games.
Yeah, and I think his record was like 35 and 48 or something in the playoffs. Like he only lost 13 elimination games, obviously, because he had 7 Super Bowls and they missed a couple years because he tore his ACL and everything. But now that it's over, as a Patriots fan, I can go back to liking him. I think it really does make you appreciate how good he was, because now we don't get to see that anymore. There really isn't a guy like Tom, and hopefully, in 10 years when Mahomes and Allen are at that stage, and Burrow, obviously, and they can kind of break that down. Sure, absolutely, there is still Aaron, but who knows with Aaron?
Well, no, here's the thing. There's no way Aaron retires now. Is my
Absolutely.
view on it.
No way.
There's a lot of people that are. I guess there's some people that think he is retiring. Aaron, I didn't know that. I didn't know that there's
Me
some
neither.
people that genuinely believe it. I guess Aaron is still kind of torn on it. Hit a good shot at Pebble Beach this
He did.
morning in the hole-in-one contest.
Yep.
Not as good as Manola.
Not
as good as
not
Manola.
many as good as Manola.
I just learned a Manola here on the hole-in-one challenge at Pebble Beach with Jim Nancy on the call. I fucking love this guy.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
the
he's a
best.
weapon.
I just learned it. That's it?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Mexico.
Just a vowel on the end.
Similar
I don't know.
features.
I don't know.
Well, and beautiful skin. You should have heard him speaking, though, here. He stepped onto this tee box at this hole-in-one shot, took this thing over.
Yep.
I mean, nobody else did. It seemed like everybody else was nervous. Manola told a story about his grandfather,
Yep.
Wow.
about the sport of golf itself, and then he hits a beautiful draw. He says he's going to hit. That's it.
That's it.
Well, it's going in there. This guy is electric. I've been missing out on him. I don't know how. I'm going to get better at golf because I know of this guy's existence. But Aaron was talking about Pebble Beach and being able to do it this year as opposed to years past. And he was talking about, maybe competition in that. And he has definitely toyed with the fact of retirement, I think, in years past, and certainly doing it right now. But with Tom Brady retiring, there's no way he's retiring.
Yeah,
right?
not a chance. Not a chance. I mean, you could say, obviously, a lot of these guys don't care, but in no way, shape, or form do those guys, either one of them, probably from more of a mutual respect. Like, you don't want to go into the Hall of Fame together. Like, they each want to be the headliner of their own class. That makes sense. I think they've both earned that. But also to Connor's point, even with Mahomes, and we saw Dano put Mahomes at number 2 in his, top 5 quarterbacks. of all
Montana
time.
was not in top 5.
Right, because he never got to saw him play. He was playing before Dano was born, or he was 4 years old, or whatever.
How old is he when Marino was throwing?
That's a good question. That's a great question. Probably pretty similar. But either way, that's why you need to appreciate Brady, because we will never see that guy again. Mahomes' career would have to go pitch perfect for the next 15 to 20 years for him to even sniff 7. I mean, he's won 1 Super Bowl. Brady is the consummate winner. We will never see another guy like that. And it is kind of crazy. It's hard to do it while you're in it, but now thinking back to when I was 12 years old and you see Michael Jordan retire, and it's at the time it's kind of this is crazy. Everyone talks about this. This guy's unbelievable. But then you look at it when you're removed, and the LeBron is the next closest thing. But it's there really isn't that heir apparent in the NFL right now. In terms of skill, maybe there are a few guys, but we won't ever see someone dominate and win the way Brady has.
It's
going to
be unfair to compare against winning because what the Patriots were able to do, I don't think it'll ever be seen again.
No,
Chuck,
outlier.
how come they were able to do that? You know, how come they were able to do that? And do you agree with our sentiment that that'll never be able to happen again? Because of how much luck, health-wise,
Oh, yeah.
the amount of health luck that has to go in there, let alone with Tom Brady. How about his left tackle, right tackle?
Exactly. Yeah.
How about fucking anybody maybe getting sick on a big
Yeah.
day? Like
Plays.
the amount of luck that has to involve for a 2-decade dominant run is absurd. I don't think we'll ever see it again. But that's a part of the whole thing. And I think it would be rude to compare whoever next
No,
to.
you can't. It'll never happen again. 10 Super Bowls and 7 victories. And what are the 2 constants that were there the entire time right in that run?
Bill Tom.
Okay, that's it.
Hell
So
yeah.
coaching matters. So you look, and nothing against all the new guys, but there's the cycles. They're firing guys after a year, and then bringing a new guy in. So I just think between Bill Belichick's genius and his ability as a football coach, his constant there, Tom Brady's constant, because they brought in a bunch of dudes, in and out, in and out,
yeah.
in and out.
Yeah, it's different chapters
They bring
of that team.
So many.
hey, Randy Moss, Corey Dillon. I mean, because they bring anybody else is like trash. Bill and them would bring them in, and then you got Tom Brady in the locker room. I mean, you can't put a price tag, to your point,
Yeah.
on that. And everybody's level of expectation and ability, everything just goes. He walks into Tampa, what happens? Exponential. Everybody just gets
Equipment
way
room,
better. Everybody,
training room,
no, everybody.
cafeteria.
It's like, you better button up your shit.
I don't want to be the reason we
better
don't
have
win
your-
a Super Bowl.
You got to coach the guy. You got to be around the guy. You're not going to be that guy. You are not going to be that guy to let that guy down. And not everybody can do that because you got to do it every single day. First in, last out, day after day, year after year. And to think for 23 years, he poured all that into that. That's why most guys don't want to lead. Because they don't want to put that time in. They don't want to have to be the first guy in and the last guy to leave and put all that extra time in the off season and staying out after practice. You're the first guy out there before doing your deal and having your own crew to cook for you, to take care of your body. I mean, you don't play that long. You don't have that much success. He has sacrificed so much.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so much. And just
He's got to be
leaving.
mentally exhausted, right? I mean,
Oh,
at some
yeah.
point, he's got to be
No,
mentally
no.
fucking exhausted.
I can't even imagine when the season's finally over. You think about 20 games, right? 20 games to win. And for so long doing that, because he never really had off season. He'd have a week or two. And because the older you get, the quicker you got to get back to it.
Bro, August, he's going to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What's he
Well-
going to do?
Oh, my God, I got to throw a ball to somebody. We got to do? AG, will you come? Well, you don't have to. What do we, where's my family? Oh, they left.
Oh, shit.
Where am I? He getting his wife back, you think? Going back with Giselle?
Nope.
She's still on vacation.
Yeah, no way. She said she's looking forward to see how Tom, continues his life in his next chapter.
What if he becomes next Leo?
I could see it.
We talked about that immediately upon it.
That's real.
What's that?
Like you spend every waking minute. I know as a coach, and I got guys that call me and say, "Hey, how is it? What do you think? Do you miss it? What do you feel your day's up with?" Because every minute of your life, other than that little vacation time you get, and by the time that 3-4 weeks is almost up, Tina's like, "Training camp starts soon." The girl's like, when are you leaving? Don't you have to be back to work? So that was fine, but your life is you don't have one, and now all of a sudden you got all this time in your hands.
375, obviously,
Yeah.
the Fox has been talked about the last couple of days. That is huge. I think he'll be good in there. I think he'll be good. If he can,
I think so too.
I think if he
hope.
can be the human that
Yeah.
Vrabel talks
Exactly.
about and
Yes.
like all his old teammates talk about and the people that know him. And even he sounded like on the Let's Go podcast when he said, if I knew what the fuck I was doing, I'd
Yeah.
already done it, Jim.
Yeah,
All right?
the Manning
Like,
cast.
he's a human here. Yeah, like let's hear the human that is Tom Brady. I think he'll
He
do
went to
great.
Tampa, yeah, I feel like everybody saw more of that human side. His, the competitive, and you saw with MJ in the Last Dance, kind of behind the veil, because you see it on the field, on the court, but a lot of people don't see the meeting rooms or the practice field, like how intense that shit is. And going back a little bit about that 20-year stretch, like not only having a head coach and a quarterback, But the GM too, Bill was basically the GM as well. So having those three things there in place, and then the different people, the different pillars outside of Brady, like so those two different dynasties, I would say. Like the early ones, he was kind of the younger guy with the Brewskis and Seymour and Ty Law and Malloy and all those Vrabel, all those guys. And then you kind of got that second group like Edelman, Chung, Slater. And all those guys, Kevin Falk, can't leave him out, Vince Wilfork. So just so many different names outside of Brady, but like everybody's on the same page. That like took crazy.
I love him.
Well, and that's what's crazy too, is because like we think of those two dynasties, the 2000s, and then the late 2018, 15, 14. Those best teams with Randy Moss, they never won it all.
Yeah.
Like the best Patriots team was 2007, and they were almost perfect, but they didn't win it all. And then after that,
Shout out to Steve Weatherford and the Giants.
Shout out, love the Giants. Good for Tom Coughlin. But that's what's nuts about it, is that some of those years are forgotten about with Tom. It's like he threw 50 touchdowns and 7 interceptions in a season, and people forget about it because Peyton ended up going to Denver.
No, he's a game manager. Remember, he's just a game. He's the best game manager of all time. Well, hopefully you can find one of your own, and I think that is what everybody is seeking. Seems like there's like 4 or 5 teams that have a chance. Bengals might be one of the teams. Joey Burrow might be the guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Patrick Mahomes might be the guy. Hey, what about Dahn in Jacksonville? Trevor Lawrence might be the guy. But I think in the modern world that we live in, there's going to be so many things tugging on people to retire. We're mentioning $375 million right now to Tom Brady. Think about how many different platforms are going to be involved with the NFL 10 to 15 years from now, where this generation of greats is going to be. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to say, hey, you don't need to commit your entire life to this. You could still make a great living and be involved in football. I think those types of things being out there affect longevity of people playing. I think that's a big deal that we should account for. 23 years is a long time. Would Tom do 23 years if it started now and had the same success? Or whenever he was, kind of dead year 15 or year 16, they were going to write him off, and he gets that $300, $400 million offer then, does it still cut 18 years in? That's a long time. 20 years in, that's a long time. But he still wouldn't have had that last Super Bowl if he retires at 20 years. Has to get the one in Tampa or whatever. So it's just, there are so many things that come into play, so many different variables that I think will hold back the next generation or the generation after that to ever become Tom Brady. So I think it'll be unfair to compare whoever is next.
Yeah.
But fucking Tom, I'm happy the New England people are back on his side. Obviously, I assume he'll sign a one-day contract. They'll do the full Julian Edelman thing where he's sitting up there and you guys will all celebrate the shit out of old Johnny Foxborough, right?
Yeah, they'll retire 12, probably, hopefully build a statue for him. But also the other thing that you're mentioning with like this era now too, when Brady was playing, it was Brady, Manning, Big Ben, Flacco for a little. Now there are 6, 7 quarterbacks in the AFC in that same age range that it feels like before every season we could talk about them making a run and winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Do you
Go ahead.
Not in the NFC.
think Tom?
No.
Didn't mention Gronk and McCourty either in that second batch, but
He mentioned
you
McCourty.
think-
He didn't mention Gronk, though. Good luck this
good luck.
next Sunday.
Yeah,
Gronk.
Gronk.
Let's make that kick,
I believe in you,
Gronk.
Gronk.
Third quarter, Gronk.
Here we go, Gronk.
You think Tom's a part of the Super Bowl broadcast?
Oh, probably, right?
They already said yesterday they have no plans of using him for the Super
Oh,
Bowl.
kayfabe,
Smart.
bro. That's
Yeah.
kayfabe. We're getting worked.
Yeah.
Probably.
Man, you think
Not
that's
the
a good
booth.
move?
Not in
He's
the
out.
booth.
Wheel him out there on
Not
the
in the
biggest
booth.
the biggest day?
Wheel
or-
him out there. What are you talking about? No, have Greg Olson do it.
Yeah.
You could easily have him be a part of the kickoff coverage.
Well, that's what I figured.
Oh,
It's-
Wheeling out. That whole crew's getting wheeled out there every single week,
Yeah.
aren't they? I
Yeah,
mean,
but they do it every week.
Fox is literally
They're
doing
12
this.
wide.
Yeah. But it's not their first time, at least.
That's literally what they're doing with
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
of their people out there. Hey, you still got it? Yeah, say the same shit you've been saying. That's literally what they do for that kickoff show. I'd assume that they roll fucking Tom Brady. Why wouldn't you? The NFL Network's got, what, a 10-hour kickoff show?
I mean, all day. Yeah, it'll probably be, 5 a.m. right up until kickoff.
I think it is like a 10-hour. I don't
Yeah.
know what Fox is going to be, but I assume it's about the same. It's like they have to have Tom Brady doing something somewhere. Somebody's got to have a checkbook big enough to get Tom Brady off that Miami Beach to the Super Bowl doing something. I'd assume that'd be a part of the Fox coverage. I would hope so, at least.
Yeah, no, I don't think money would be the issue. I just assume Tom would not want his first ever time being on TV as like an analyst be the most watched broadcast that they'll have all
Oh,
year.
yeah. Tom Brady, yeah. That's what Tom Brady does. Which brings me to another point. Tom's been at the top of the mountain for fucking 20 years. He's the Yankees. Every time Tom Brady shows up, he's getting everybody's best shot, has to show up. And when he doesn't show up, it is national headlines. That is not an easy thing to kind of deal with either. There's some people who are underdog stories that are able to come in and they have a moment where they top the king and then they kind of bounce off into obscurity again. And they get to live off of that for the rest of their lives.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever you're the king, as soon as you fall once, you get asked about that one fall forever. So this person who was never really ever at the top, who knocked off the king, lives off that forever. Every conversation is about that. When you're at the top, though, your conversation is about that one time that you lost to this guy. That is a whole different set of pressure that Tom has had for 23 years in the most watched league in the world. The mental toughness, just everything about him is awesome. And we've done this for 30 minutes. We don't need to do it anymore. And you guys did it yesterday. Fucking thank you, Tom. Congrats, Tom. We'll never see another Tom, and we won't be able to see another Tom. So congratulations,
Thank
pal.
you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom.
Other big news, obviously, Sean Payton is now the head coach of the Denver Broncos. This should be an incredible thing for the Denver Broncos. We thought Sean Payton might go to Arizona because Arizona definitely needs somebody like Sean Payton, get the offense back together, a little bit of accountability, and somebody with a resume that maybe more people could buy in. D-Hop has already asked for a trade. Would that change if Sean Payton was the coach? We think so. We think there's a chance that he'd be able to buy in to what Sean was pitching. Who will the Cardinals hire? We shall see. But the Texans get D'Amico Ryans. Congrats to D'Amico.
Yeah.
There you go.
Broncos get Sean Payton, and you guys had a source off yesterday.
Oh, yeah, big time.
I fucking hate that I missed a source off. I was watching at home, so mad about a source off taking place. We'll have one of those sources in the source off, Ian Rappaport, joining us live from Mobile, Alabama at 1:20 Eastern Standard Time. He'll be talking about his report that the Broncos wanted D'Amico Ryans, and then when D'Amico Ryans decided to go to the Texans, then they initiated calls back with Sean Payton, and that just so happened to be on the same day that D'Amico Ryans signed to the Texans or whatever. Then Adam Schefter was like, excuse me. Timing of today's two hires was completely coincidental. Broncos were zeroed in on Sean Payton and didn't make any contact this week with D'Amico Ryans or his agent. Denver was focused on Payton and Houston on Ryan. So we have a little bit of a source off.
yeah.
And the reason why this is a big deal is because the narrative that's getting sent to Sean Payton and the Broncos fans is that this was our second choice, even all the way up to the day of the signing. Sean Payton's already won a Super Bowl, has been a head coach before, but that's a bad look going into a new relationship. And Schefter said that that wasn't the case. Ian said it was the case. We'll talk to him at 1:20 to see what it is. Chuck Pagano, how do you feel about these two hires? I feel like Russell Wilson, now league sources have told us that Russell Wilson was the one around league conversations being blamed for the Broncos sucking on offense last year. Historically bad year for Russell Wilson and that offense. Defense was a bunch of dogs. So seemingly has a pretty good roster. Hopefully Sean Payton will be able to turn it around. And D'Amico Ryans with the Texans, you can talk about either one of them first. What are your thoughts on the two hirings? Former head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, Chuck Pagano.
Love them. And if I'm Sean Payton, the first order of business is I'm getting in there. Evero, he did a great job with that defense. You just mentioned they got a bunch of dogs, right? So if I'm Sean, because Vic Fangio is always tied to Sean, right? Wherever Sean was going to go.
He just went to Miami, by the way. Vic Fangio has signed to Miami. Allegedly will happen after the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Congratulations,
Way to go,
Vic.
Vic.
He was originally there, then he wasn't. Was he using it as leverage for more money, or was he actually going back to San Francisco? Allegedly, Kyle Shanahan didn't want to change the defense from 3-4 to 4-3, 4-3 to 3-4. So he is going to Miami. Congratulations to Vic and to Miami for getting the fucking guy down there.
Yeah.
But
Get your suntan lotion.
Yeah,
He'll
Vic-
have plenty enough money to, he won't have trouble buying it.
Well, I think
You know,
real estate down there is pretty expensive, especially with the amount of cranes that have been down in Miami.
Vic's a great coach, and McDaniel won't have to worry about one thing on that side of the football.
Which is great for McDaniel.
So that because being the head coach and the play caller, and all, we all know how big a deal that is. But fired up for Sean. He'll do a great job there. He'll get Russell to be Russell again.
We're sure of that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I thought there was a chance he took ayahuasca or something. He forgot how to play football. Because we were
Looked like
watching
it last year.
exactly.
Yeah.
You were breaking down some film, and you were like, "This is clearly not where." You were talking about him almost looking like a second-year or third-year quarterback, like a first-year
First,
quarterback,
yeah.
with the decisions
Like
he
a
was making.
deer in
This
the
whole
headlights
thing
a
never
lot
got
of
off the
time.
ground.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like from Jump Street. This was a dumpster fire, right? And whose fault? We're not going to blame anybody, but it just never got
Well,
going.
we
could.
Sources
could.
are blaming me.
I mean, it just never got going. So who knows? But we all have faith in Sean. He's done it. He's been there 15 years in New Orleans, Super Bowl win, what he did with Breeze. I mean, Breeze was a good player, but he got the best out of him. He'll find a way to get the best out of Russell Wilson. And like I said, talk to Evero, the DC there, and convince him that, hey, look, you're our guy. We want you to stay. You did an unbelievable job. Because Minnesota, there's people coming after him right now. There's rumor that he's supposed to go.
Cardinals.
You know, because he had a relationship with O'Connell, right, the head coach in Minnesota from the Rams. So he'd love to probably have his services. But if
Did he
I'm
get a head
Denver-
coaching interview with Denver?
Who's that?
I think so.
That's
He
right. Yeah,
declined it.
in-house they gave him one. Yes.
He declined the interim, right?
Yes.
But did he get a head coaching
Yeah,
interview
Jerry
afterwards?
Rosberg took the interim. He did, but that would be my first order of business, is trying to solidify that. There's continuity there. You don't have another turnover. You don't have the whole scheme deal like Shanahan's saying up in San Fran. Love Vic, would love to have him, but we've got a 4-3 in place. Because, we have 4-3 here when I got here, right?
Oh, yeah, Dwight.
Okay, and I was a 3-4 guy in Baltimore. You think that was easy conversation talking to Robert and Dwight?
No. Robert adjusted to it a little bit better than Dwight. And by a little bit, I mean a lot of bit better.
Right, Mathis
than
is
Dwight.
like the ultimate team guy, teammate, player, human being.
Right.
And for him to do that, and take a leap of faith, because when I sat him down, I wasn't going to lie to him. Here's the job requirement for the Sam linebacker. Now, he's been on the left side, right, just track stance, ass in here, coming off the ball, and just murdering quarterbacks ever since he's been in Indy, right? And now you're going to stand up, we're going to, hey, curl flat, hook curl, 3 receiver, seam flat. And he's like, Griggs called me and we were at the combine. Said, Robert's age just called. He doesn't want to sign. He doesn't want to come back. What'd you say to him? I said, I just told him the truth. So here's what the defense is. Had him come back in, watched hours of film with Robert. So that transition is real. I mean, it is real. You're set up a certain way, so I totally understand that. But
I will say this, on the flip side, Dwight Freeney, incredible teammate as well. There's been numerous evenings where Dwight Freeney has sent his limo to pick me up from places where I was. Well, this is before Uber existed. Freeney was a great teammate. At that stage of his career, though, he was making $17 million a year. You know why he was making $17 million a year? Because he could fucking get to the quarterback. That is all he was brought in for. The way Bill Polian constructed the team, we're going to spend money on offense at skill positions and it's quarterback, Peyton Manning and the boys. We're going to go up, and then we're going to let Robert Mathis and Freeney hunt. And they're going to have to pass because they're going to have to catch up to us, and they're just going to be able to create sacks and cause hell. Was a very successful recipe. So whenever you come in and it's 3-4 all of a sudden, Freeney was only playing on third downs, I think. Only playing on third downs, right?
well, he was going to be the rush. So the rush in a 3-4 is the guy that is rushing a quarterback more times than not. So Robert assumed the role of Sam, to make life probably easier on Dwight. And they were both unbelievable, like you said. Great talent. I mean,
Yes.
the spin move, he's forever going to be,
Dude,
that guy.
sports science. They did Freeney.
Oh yeah, John Brinkus.
Coming
so
back,
He
too.
did.
so that's not
He's
easy.
spinning as fast as a figure skater.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Could we have picked anything else for a defensive end? Like, come on, man! Could we pick anything else? So obviously, Freeney, I heard you're spinning like a figure skater. He goes, "Yeah, pretty quick, thanks. I'm like, Freeney. This guy couldn't have picked anything else that could have spun fast, but he was that dynamic that he warranted a fucking sports science. But I do recall coming in with his brand new defense, in the locker room chatter was hysterical. I mean, just
And
like,
it's the same thing,
what the
like-
fuck do these guys want from us? It's a full-on.
In Chicago, they were 3-4, and you had Mack and Quinn. Robert Quinn, Khalil Mack. And so we never wanted guys that can go get the quarterback for a living and get the quarterback on the ground. That's all you build your defense around is guys that can rush the passer and cover these unbelievable wide receivers. So we never wanted those guys. So what'd you do? You send 5 most of the time. We run swill fire zone. What's it called? Swill. What's it called? Swill. What are you going to do?
Swill is
Sam and
Swill
Will.
is Sam and Will. 2 outside linebackers, 3 defensive linemen, 5 guys hunting the quarterback. Good versus run, really good versus pass. You usually get 5 one-on-ones up front if they don't leave anybody extra in to protect, and you let your hunters hunt.
and that's how you get around having to adjust everybody.
And we used to say, hey, let your fighters fight and your fuckers fuck. And those guys are the guys that go.
Bam.
Sure.
And you let those fuckers fuck all night long. You swill your way right through all of that thing. How about D'Amico Ryans down in Houston? You like the hire? JJ's pumped. I saw Big Cush put a post out there. I don't know how active Cushing's is on social media. I got a chance to meet him down at the Senior Bowl. What a fucking icon Brian Cushing is.
Yeah.
Just a New Jersey fucking meathead through and through. I think he's their strength coach down there. I don't know if he still is. He was at one point. He's pumped for D'Amico. Everybody calling D'Amico Cap. Welcome back, Cap. Welcome back, Cap. He's done a great job with the Niners. This is 2 defensive coordinators from the San Francisco 49ers getting head coaching gigs in the last couple of years. Your thoughts on D'Amico going back to Houston, and what does this mean for the AFC South, you think, Chuck?
Great homecoming. I guess his wife is from there, obviously played there, beloved in that city. He'll do a great job. He's got to go out. His biggest deal is going to go out and hire an offensive coordinator. Somebody to take care of that side of the ball. They've got, what do they pick, number 2? They got number 2, right?
Second.
So they got a second and I think a 12th,
Like
right?
12, yeah.
Yeah, so they got 2.
And Chicago allegedly trading out.
2
Yes.
first-round picks. They got a good young team, a good young nucleus. That defense hunted there. I mean, they played extremely hard. I mean, they didn't have a bunch of wins, and
They got worse.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, they were really
They
bad.
got worse.
but he's
They
got
did.
he's got his
They
hands
look
full.
bad. They look bad.
Our only
Mills took a step
advice
back.
would be to stay true to who you are. You do not have. How many guys have you had on your show tell you that? Sirianni. What was Sirianni say when he became? What was the advice somebody gave him?
Manure, let the manure
Yeah,
sink.
manure goes into
No. Wait a second.
topsoil.
No, the deal was stay true to who you are. Don't change.
Oh,
Be-
yeah.
As,
But
the,
yeah,
as the
right.
head coach, be you. And so that's what, because Saleh, I mean, that was, remember we talked about that. When we watched him as the defensive coordinator at
He was
San
awesome.
Fran,
Yeah.
I mean,
Psycho.
he set that thing up. D'Amico just took it over and carried on with the thing and did even better. Won in every category that matters on defense the last 2 years. I mean, did a phenomenal job. But just remain who you are. You don't have to become
Oh, you're
anybody
talking about
else.
Saleh going to New York and
Going to New
seemingly
York.
getting all of his joy sucked out of his life.
Lost 15 pounds.
Yeah, and
Nah.
on the sideline, we didn't see him one time.
Nope.
He was this. We saw this ball.
Yeah.
Stoic.
Didn't talk all year.
Fucking drafts.
Now, as
Zach
soon as you
Wilson.
got all that responsibility, that can do that to you.
Not
Believe
happy.
me.
What's that?
You wear a lot of hats, when you assume that job. Now, you get paid really, really good. You be a head football coach in the National Football League. But there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it, and it can affect you in a lot of different ways. The expectations are crazy. Just go out and delegate. Hire an unbelievable staff, D'Amico. Get somebody. You can handle the defense. You want to keep your hands on that. You want to call that, go ahead. But get things in place to make you successful. And then hire a bunch of guys that are going to be loyal to you, that they sit in there and they come to work every single day like this crew does
Hell yeah.
for you.
Hell yeah.
They walk in there, I sit in there, I will listen to them. Hey, our job here is to make sure that you're successful, that this show is the very best show in the planet, on the planet.
Hell yeah,
and so
boys.
Our only job when we go in and D'Amico Ryans hires us as assistants, our only job is make sure the head coach is successful and we win. And that is it. Because when you win, there'll be enough cheese to go around.
Might not be here, but there will be cheese.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Speaking of cheese, I think Sean Payton, I'm happy you noticed that. Great group here. That's why it's impossible to hire. That's why we'll probably never hire. To our detriment, but also it's the reason why the fucking drink is
Stirred.
Yeah. So it's an interesting thing, and we appreciate everybody. I get messages, I don't know, 10 of them a day, people wanting to work here. I appreciate that honor. It is awesome. Tough to build culture. Easy to fuck up culture.
Yeah.
Don't want to do that at all. I've seen it happen firsthand, and would never want to be a part of that. Let's talk about cheese. I appreciate all the boys here, and I appreciate you acknowledging that, Coach. That's a big deal, especially coming from you, who we all admire. 17 to 20 million is what Sean Payton's making this year?
Yep.
That's what they say.
I don't know what D'Amico would be, 10 to 12 or something like that? Is that what we're assuming?
First year guy, he got 6 years. So they made a commitment to him. So that the thing that happened the last 2 years, back to back, doesn't happen. So they've made a commitment. I don't know what that number will be.
Yeah, Rule was 7 years, 74 million or something. So you'd assume he'd probably get the same, if not more.
Yeah, and he's looking for $5 million or
Yeah.
$5 million a year for that
I think just $5 million.
Yeah.
all together.
Yeah.
I mean, if we know Tepper, if that was $5,
Yeah,
he ain't
yeah.
fucking.
Good luck, Rule.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna have to
Barking
bring.
up the wrong tree.
Yeah, you're gonna have to bring your best lawyer You want to fucking get this, pal.
I think Tepper can afford some guys, right?
He could.
Take care of
But
his-
he
Yeah.
that is not his
He'll
thing.
spend $100 million so he doesn't have to pay him.
No, that's what I mean. He can afford good lawyers, right?
Bro,
He's got a team that.
this
I thought
dude
you were
is
talking
like-
about Hitman.
You better back off.
Well, he is. It seems like he is a ruthless fucking dog.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. That's also something whenever you do business down there, you got to know, like, hey, you're doing business with this guy, too, who is a dog. Deion Sanders talked about that. He said, you should have already Googled me. You should have known. I'm already back up out the door. And I'm like, yeah, that's the same thing. Like, whenever we're talking about people, I assume that's taking place with Tepper. And the 6-year thing, D'Amico's agent knew. Like, hey, you guys just fired Lovey and Coach Dave after 1 year. And they got much worse.
Yes.
These teams got much worse each time. There's zero continuity. Going to have to at least promise us that we'll be here for 6 years, even though in the head coaching business, that doesn't mean a fucking thing.
No, they had to, based on the last 2 years and what happened to Dave, and Lovey. They
You know
had to-
Dave? You know Dave?
I don't.
Only thing I know him from
Just
is
from afar.
literally chewed his tongue.
Yep.
Hubba Bubba.
What do you mean?
He chewed on his tongue. Like, it was awesome.
Like gum?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was a piece of gum.
Like, actually on the sideline.
I never saw that.
Oh, yeah.
That was the only thing I saw.
Did it bleed?
No.
No, it had been there
Eventually,
before.
yeah, sure.
No, this thing was
Week
tough.
12, week 13. Yeah.
One of the toughest tongues of all time.
Yeah, I don't know. They weren't bad. I mean,
No, they're pretty decent.
Was it?
They
was it
beat
like
Urban's
Was it like a
Jags.
tick? You think? Like a?
I think it was
You know,
just what he
pe-
did to pass time.
Like Jordan.
Yeah.
Like, I think he was just like, didn't even know. It was just like happening.
Yeah.
Mahomes has chews on his tongue a lot.
Does he? You know what else Pat does? Pat does this thing to get
Yeah.
the
Next
play.
play.
Oh, as soon as the ball's done,
Don't give me the
they
fucking
blow
play.
the whistle.
Give
and
me
they're-
the fucking play. Give me the play. I want to get that out of my head. Give me that. Give me that.
What if you're like Bieniemy or Reed? Like, do you think they're ever like, I'm fucking getting it?
Yeah. Well,
Jesus Christ, we know, Pat.
yeah, we were trying. All right, we're all
Christ,
here.
slow down.
I think they have a great relationship. I think that is something that everybody's trying to have. I listened to the New Heights clip about Travis and Jason obviously playing in the Kelsey Bowl, and they were obviously deferring all.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other people in this. There's a lot of other things, and that's what two guys from Cleveland Heights, Ohio would say, and the Kelsey brothers would say. But them talking about the other teams putting the jersey
Yeah.
on the Rocky statue,
Yep.
and Jason Kelsey saying it has to be an inside job at this point. I'm a big fan of that happening if that is what's taking place. Some Eagles fan is just going over there being like, all right, City needs a little bit more motivation. Oh, you guys, City seem as jacked up for this game as the others? No.
Not really,
Yeah, you're
actually.
right. Let me fucking head on over there. Look at this Travis Kelsey jersey right on top of Rocky. I love that they're even acknowledging that and talking about that. The thing that I don't love that's being acknowledged, the NFL being rigged.
Man.
well.
Arian Foster's been trending for 4 days.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that was
Some of the best internet we've had in a long time.
Long time.
great internet.
Really is.
I mean, and Chuck, you're the one that handed me the script.
Right.
When I kicked that onside kick to myself against the Houston Texans. When you handed that script to me before the season, and I knew that was coming, first I had to work on that kick, obviously. And
Sure.
I guess the cat's out of the bag now. But then for you to do that in the first quarter and just, because they talk about people going off script sometimes.
Yeah.
And that obviously was not that, but just the fact that it worked out so perfectly, and then the fact that you're able to read a play so wonderfully and jump a pick and get a pick six, and obviously the ability for everybody to be a better thespian than everybody that's in Hollywood, for quarterbacks to even look guys off, get comfortable, and then boom, be able to naturally throw a pick six as opposed to like forcing it. And that's why some guys' careers don't last as long as others, because they can't sell these plays as well as other people that can sell these plays from the script. Darius, whenever you hear something like that and then you see the responses and then you see people basically feel legitimized from that clip, how do you feel? How do you feel about the state of the world that we're in and the state of the league as we speak?
It was just funny. It was entertainment, and that was the best. That's what you get from the internet. That was the best of Twitter, because the people that saw the video, number one, you knew. I feel like you should have known it was sarcasm.
I don't
A lot of
know.
people
I'm
did.
still
I don't
torn.
know.
Oh, that's the
But then
problem.
the caption above it, it was half the people in the comment section replying strictly to the comment, like, "Oh, I knew it. And now obviously this conversation is on the heels of the AFC Championship game and the referees, and everybody's talked about. He had Gene on here, which I thought was
Great.
fucking. That was one of my favorite segments.
We need
of the year.
Gene. We need Gene every week.
For
I think that
sure.
is
Him
something-
breaking down
Absolutely.
those plays in live time and how they see it and how they call it. So that's where the conversation stemmed from. But it was just hilarious. Obviously, it's too many fucking moving parts.
John, what do you think about the script for the Pittsburgh Steelers the last few years?
A little bit disappointing, to be honest. But I guess they had a good script for a lot of years, so I guess you pay your tithes or whatever. Were you like,
Amen.
Can you run it up the ladder? Like when you read the script for that Steelers game, where you potentially thought that you were going to, get a touchdown
Against Polamalu.
But then you read the script, and Troy was gonna know what was coming. You were gonna call it off. Like, can you run that to Chuck? And then Chuck takes up where to Goodell? Is that where you?
So I think what happens
Is he
is
the main writer?
I
or
go
the-
to Chuck. I go, I guess I'll sell that I'm scared of Polamalu, but please know that if this was not scripted,
I would run him.
Yeah.
I'm trying to run his fucking ass over for that particular thing. And I don't know why the script writers, looking back on it, Chuck, you might have a better answer. I don't know why they wouldn't want me to score in the same stadium that I won the punt, pass, and kick in
You're right.
as a 15-year-old
In your hometown.
in my hometown with a bunch of McAfees in the
Yeah.
stands.
Is that why they gave it back to you on Thanksgiving?
They let me complete a pass.
Well, they knew the story from you about that play
Yeah.
would be something that would outlast the touchdown
You think
itself.
they try to get you in the writers' room?
Yeah, well,
They get me
I
in the
thought,
fucking paint, though. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
they knew I had a magic
Yeah.
trick waiting in my hand thing.
I thought you were in the writers' room when you and Trenton Holiday. I thought you guys came together, went up, and said, "Hey, this would be a great moment."
I just think it's an incredible disrespect to a lot of players' efforts and football IQ to continue this thing. Honest, and
How
coaching.
about Donnie Brown, like fumble, put it on the ground, and Andrew has to pick it up and triple jump in.
Some of the best
Script
writing
writes
they've
itself.
ever done. Yeah,
Fake
exactly.
punt. I saw that one, and I tried to get that one thrown out on Wednesday. I saw
Yeah.
that one. on the
What's
script.
which fake punt?
Colt?
That was not a fake punt.
Against the
Just
Patriots.
to be clear, punter wasn't involved.
Were you on the field? So you got okay, yeah. So yeah.
Hold on, no.
Well,
I was on the kickoff team as well. Was that a kickoff? It just so happened to be on fourth down.
Your hands are all over that one.
Punter was not allowed to be a part of play, and I think that was a mistake. Honestly, playmakers on the field, give the guy to that ball, give the ball to that guy. But yeah, I just I get worried about society when I watch that.
that's right.
When I watch the replies to that. Now, shout out to PFT and Aaron Foster. Fucking love everything about it.
Yeah.
Love everything about it. PFT's brain, obviously, massive. As is Arian Foster after listening to that and getting a chance to watch him work. Big fan of all of them. But really worried about society after watching that tweet. Shoot, that's
No.
a shoot, too. That's a shoot.
That honestly is like, it was my biggest takeaway too. Is like, this is actually scary. Like how dumb human beings are, like legit. And not to like mix the two, but it's like kind of when like you look at like the political world that we're in and everything, it's like, oh, okay, this is how we get here. Because people are so fucking stupid. They'll see something and just boom, like believe it instantly. Has to be true. Don't think for themselves at all. Like don't even like critically think like, well, this is actually like, this would be kind of crazy if like this is actually how, like there's none of that. It's just, yep, this is unequivocally true. There's no two ways about it. Like it is. You see that, you see how many people, and again, Twitter is a small sample size.
Still a focus group.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
But you look at that and it really is like, Jesus Christ, like this is scary. There are some dumb fucking people out here that are allowed to make decisions, to get in a car and drive every day, like just shit like that. It's like
Their vote counts the same as everybody else's.
Exactly.
Which I don't want to go into the whole voting conversation, but certainly,
real.
certainly worth it. It was a fascinating study into society, reading those whole things. People were attacking me because obviously I was working
hold
with
the water for the NFL.
You fucking know.
And then that video comes. You got anything to say about this to me? That's how I learned of it. Was like 10 people told me that I was an idiot and a
Told
doofus
you.
and I was everything like that. And I watch it and I laughed rather hard when I was doing it. And then I think PFT put underneath like the QTs to this are hilarious.
All time.
So I look at the quote tweets and it's like, oh no,
Yeah.
oh no, oh no. And I get a text from like Herbstreit. He's like, hey, people actually believing that? I'm like,
Quite a few.
oh yeah,
For
Herbie.
sure.
I think I'm scrolling through right now. I do believe there's some people that think this is. No, Herbie, I got to call you back, Herbie. We got a societal issue right now, I think. And then we just kind of move on, but it's a real thing. And we started talking about it immediately after the game on Sunday because NFL rigged was trending immediately following both championship games. And I don't know what other sports shows are covering or talking about, but we live on the internet, so we had to chat about it. And I think a lot of people that are into mainstream people who happen to watch our program, which we appreciate, they watch our shit. A lot of questions like, why are you even giving that time? Why are you even giving that time? It's like, this is a real thing that's happening. Like,
People think this.
I think this is a real thing that's happening and you should pay attention to. And then obviously fucking macro dosing comes in and just dominates the whole thing. Amazing, incredible. It is a question mark about our entire society, though.
And then same deal. You have like some bigger outlets who didn't watch the video and then just run with that. It's like Arian Foster said the NFL
Who did?
rigged.
Sports Illustrated.
I saw SI fucking quote tweet it. I didn't read
Well,
the
and-
article, so maybe it was tongue in cheek, and he was kind of doing the same thing we are. But even to get to that point where it's like,
That one new account that Rap said definitely don't listen to those people also did the same thing. We should take that into
Which one? There's like 10 of them.
Yeah.
the
Jordan Schultz? I'm just asking, Tony.
I was in group text last night with Schultze
ML football.
yesterday.
what was he saying?
He brought me into a group text yesterday.
With who?
Pretty big.
Really?
I mean, unless it's not
With
already got
Starbuck?
clipped. It was an introduction to somebody. It was not to Howard. No, it was not to Howard. It was pretty large. Might not be the person though. I mean, honestly, might not be the person.
Yeah.
Right.
It was an introduction to somebody that's definitely good for the program. For us.
Ichiro?
No, not Ichiro.
Was it green or blue text?
Blue.
Okay, so it probably is real.
Steve Jobs.
I don't know.
Burner phone, you'd assume green.
Steve's
dead.
Steve is
Maybe.
dead, but he did create the thing that has the blue text message.
Bezos, he's been tweeting.
It was not Bezos or Elon. It was
Who's
no other
Bezos?
billionaires. It was a general manager.
Bezos.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, a
Yeah,
GM.
It was a GM. Pretty big deal.
Okay.
Probably be on the show in the next week or so.
John
Holy
Schneider.
Oh, a real one.
No. Huh?
A real Jim.
We don't know. We don't know. We have no idea if it's a real number or not. I guess I should follow up. I don't even know how I would.
Well,
FaceTime? I got to FaceTime.
I mean, if Schultze came on here with a wig and a mustache acting like a GM, he could.
That would be,
Oh, yeah, all the power to him.
All right, let's get to a break. That would be amazing.
that would be good.
Hour two would be on the other side with AJ Hawk and Ian Rappaport. Could you imagine he comes on?
He should do that.
Must
actually.
happen.
Oh, it's me, guys.
Yeah, just joking.
Daddy!
I was on my other phone.
Oh, yeah, he has two phones.
He
That
definitely,
we know of.
does.
definitely has two
Yeah.
phones.
Yeah, he showed us that one time.
Somebody should, I guess I should send a, hey, is this really? Get out of that group.
Individual
Yeah,
text.
yep.
Hey, are you actually
Private. But can you send me a picture of a spoon, the date?
Yep.
Date.
A newspaper.
This is like a Manti Te'o situation.
Yeah,
you go.
exactly.
A catfish situation.
yeah.
Yeah. Need this as of this morning.
Schultz runs into a Starbucks. Hey, you can have free Starbucks for the rest of your life. I just need you to hold this stuff so I can take a photo of you. Please.
Yeah, but if the photo, then I would know.
True.
Oh, you're talking about to the person that
Yes.
it's fake is?
Uh-huh.
This is also the third time we tried getting this guy on, too.
Really?
Do you know who this is?
Yeah.
How do you?
Yeah, but
Oh.
those other two times came from somebody that is not Schultz.
Okay, so I know who this is as well now.
I forgot.
This seems
I'm
to be a
still
much.
lost.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, different than the previous one, which was clearly okay. I don't think so.
Pretty
But-
big. If
Oh,
this
yeah.
is said person, pretty fucking big
Yeah,
deal.
huge.
Did you know that Zeke, Shams, and Schultze have a group call every Sunday night before the week?
That would not surprise me.
Not at all.
That would not surprise me at all.
Like a group FaceTime.
Yeah.
Go over some talking points.
Yeah.
Do you guys Zoom it or FaceTime it? What
Yeah,
is
what's
it?
going on in the week? You know, we got to figure it out.
I saw
what's
Shams
breaking?
was on Up and Adams this morning. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Shams. Schultze, has he recovered since that Jets thing?
He has not.
Honestly,
no.
have not heard from Schultz.
That was the
since
first I had
Jets
heard of him.
thing, Yeah.
It's all right, Schultze. Get back in that batter's box.
Schultze.
If you look at the replies under any tweet, it's hellfire in there.
Yeah, it is.
It's hellfire.
If
Still
he's
to this day?
Yes.
No, like if he's commenting on like Instagram or anything like that, you just boom right under it. Shut up, Schultz. Shut up, Schultz.
Pretty
There's a lot
awesome.
of that.
He needs to turn off his replies on Twitter. That's a classic move that
Yep.
people do. Then the quote tweets get a little loud.
Yeah.
No coming back from that one. You do that, and then
Yeah.
that's basically
one was
waving the white
tough.
flag.
I don't think he knew what he was saying though. Like in Schultze's defense,
Like Odell.
I don't think he knew. No, not how you're taking that, Ty. I think he didn't. That's hilarious. Ty was like, "Yeah, no shit, no." I don't think he knew like how serious the allegations were
Sure.
that he was saying.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think he was just rattling off things that
Yeah.
he had heard behind the scenes.
Yep. He got excited.
And then, yes, he did. He got excited. He
Yep.
was putting on a show.
Right.
He's Schultz. He's doing his
crushing
thing.
it, yeah.
He didn't even know, how serious.
There's going to be massive blowback on this. He had no idea.
Yeah, like a quarterback being late to meetings is a fucking that's like basically a death shot,
In New
kill
York.
shot to the quarterback. Yeah, in the NFL.
In New York.
I don't know if he knew that though. Whenever he was just like boom, boom, boom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I heard he's standoffish. Yeah, I heard he's
Guys don't like him.
late to meetings. Like I think he was just like kind of doing his Schultze thing.
Yeah.
It's like when we were
And
going
then I was
through.
like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Schulte, that's
Late to meetings.
a big deal.
huge allegation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Hey, he was. I got 15 people with him.
We have never experienced something like that.
No.
We've been doing a show 5 years, obviously 6 years. Today, I retired 6 years
Yeah.
ago. Today.
Pretty
Congrats.
sweet.
Hell of a run, boys.
That's why that insurance ran up.
Yeah, middle of my wife being pregnant. That's tough.
That's interesting.
I remember calling you. Are you sure?
You and Will bought.
I was ready to go.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, I was.
But he spelled out. I asked him. I said, "You can kick 20 more years, Pat. Make." Nope. This is what I'm going to do. And 6 years later, you did it.
Hey, well, I appreciate that, Coach.
It's unbelievable.
A lot of spite can do those types of things.
Oh, yeah.
You had. I never sensed that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even getting into it. This is a celebration.
Yep. That's right.
Celebration,
Happy
6
day.
years. When you start seeing money get pulled out of your check, though, for things that are just complete bullshit, and it's like $20,000, $30,000, $70,000, it's like, yo, I'm getting fucking federally robbed around here.
Yeah.
Just for what? For what? Selling more jerseys than everybody else around here? Making it to the Pro Bowl? What the fuck did I do? Look at the Madden score. These guys got the highest fucking score on the team. You're taking 50 grand out of my fucking check. Yeah, I'm done with this shit.
Yeah.
Happy at work though. Goddamn.
Well, shout out Griggs.
Shout out to Grigson. I hope he's doing well. Heard he's got a job again.
He
That's
is.
good news.
It's like a-
Congrats to him coming around.
Yeah.
Here we are, 6 years later. Mm-hmm. But yeah, once I started seeing money get pulled out of my fucking, this is a lot of money. This is a lot of fucking money coming out.
Fine. Was that for fines?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you know your fucking name was
the
on
letter. Oh, I know.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Hey, they come to me. Oh fuck. Are you kidding me? Pat, what was?
Oh, no.
Who was this sign?
What is-
Chuck Pagano. Oh,
This motherfucker.
Interesting.
hey, excuse me. Is your fucking fine, Pat? Pat?
I would run down locker room. Remember, nobody's here yet. Really early, slip in your locker, run back to my office, and just wait.
I appreciate you, Chuck. We had great conversations about all that.
Yes, we did.
Trip to Japan. Mm-hmm. I was sitting right there. I was going to retire
Como
then.
arigato.
Remember, I was going to retire then. I was going to retire then, and I was like, all right, I'm going to talk to this fucking guy that I don't know that well, Chuck Pagano, and I'm going to see how this goes.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I was like, hey, I don't want that guy talking to me anymore, you know? Mm-hmm. I don't want that guy talking to me anymore. I got it. So then we did. Long time. It was like 11, 12 weeks. Nothing happened. And then that Thanksgiving day, after that Thanksgiving game happened, my profile photo right now on Instagram, that was it. I'm like, fuck this. I'm out of here. I'm thankful it worked. There was a couple times where I thought we were not. And people don't know this, and I've never talked about it. I was down to like good $20,000, $30,000 whenever I was investing in the office and paying bills and paying people and paying travel and doing this and doing that so I can make it work, you know, make everything work. And I was staring at that bank account just like kind of depleting. And I'm like, can still kick, dude, right? Can still kick. And then I go kick in my backyard. I'm like, all right, I still got it. And then I see that number go away. I'm like, is this ever gonna start going the opposite direction? And I'd say we got pretty close to shutting it all down and going back to kicking. And then, boom, we make a change. We go, and then everything kind of goes the opposite direction. So I'm very thankful for everybody that kind of rocked with us this entire ride. If you're new to the party, we can't thank you enough. If you've been here since jump, thank you for the support and the love. Obviously couldn't be here without you, but goddamn, what a run this last 6 years have been. And obviously hour 2 will be on the other side. And hopefully it'll be our best hour of all time.
Yeah.
We got a source-off conversation to have with one of the sources who's involved in a source-off, a pretty big one, Ian Rappaport, and also AJ Hawk, who hosted all day yesterday. Can't thank him enough. Be a friend, tell a friend. Take 5! Obviously, this is a conversation starter for everybody when they're talking about the Dynasty, and there's still Raiders fans that are pissed off about this. Here's the game plan. Go out there in the middle of a snowstorm and make a kick that you're not supposed to make at all from 45 yards.
This is the Patriots season on the line.
Do you remember this moment right here in your head? Were you scared to death? Were you fucking pumped?
I would say I was probably more scared to death as I'm watching the Tuck Rule review and realizing, holy shit, we get the ball back. Oh, yeah, by the way, it's coming all down to you, man.
This will be a 45-yard attempt. That's Vinatieri's luck from this distance of late.
Once I got out on the field, I really had 3 thoughts. First and foremost, try to attack the ball, but stay light on your feet. Just like anybody, you're running on ice. If your cleats don't stick, you're falling on the ground, and then the ball's going to end up hitting your center right in the back of the head. I wasn't thinking about missing 4 of the last 5, if that's truly what was going on. For me, it was all about, hey, you know, these guys aren't going to be able to get a good rush, get it straight and get it above the line of scrimmage. And thank goodness, as it left and I saw that they didn't block it, then it was all about, I don't know if it's going to have enough distance in this snow, you know, let's hope for the best. And I really didn't know until the referees at the back of the end zone raised their hands. I couldn't really see it. Couldn't tell if it was good or not.
Hell yeah, because it's a snow globe. What a kick. What a moment. Obviously, that would go on to launch a dynasty that the NFL will never see again or before. What a kick. What a moment. Here's an overtime. You got to make another one.
Substantially easier kick. Not just because of the distance, but we called a timeout. We cleaned a bunch of ground. This is the one time that a coach actually icing me probably benefited us, right? Because it gave my offensive lineman with the big size 16 cleats to get out there and move a little bit more ground. And, you know, not to say a game winner's ever easy, but this one compared to the one quarter before that was substantially different.
So you're coming out here sighing a little bit of relief. Oh, thank God. I can see the ground. I'm not going to fall.
Right.
We've already done this.
Exactly.
This is no problem.
Tied.
And then you murder that ball dead center. And then obviously in the Super Bowl, you have like a 49-yarder that you hit at the top of the upright. Couldn't have been a better ball, I don't think. You hit it cleaner. You have something inside of you, okay, that not a lot of people have. And Joe Burrow seemingly is a guy that has it. What is that?
I would love to tell you that I was born with or I developed the ability to, you know, be a clutch under pressure. I do think that there's certain people that are born with the want or the ability to say, Michael Jordan, you know, Tiger Woods, Mariano Rivera. These guys are, and ladies, are the type of people that go, I want the game coming down to me. I want to be the reason, LeBron, you know, I want to be the reason why we win or lose. I was kind of that same person, you know, playing soccer as center midfield, and in baseball I either wanted to pitch or catch. I'd leave it there. I know what you're thinking. Knock it off. I know you. Anyway, but I always wanted to, you know, be in the middle of the game and be the reason why. So once I get to football, obviously 59 minutes of the game, I'm standing on the sideline, but I guess this is the one opportunity that I can put exclamation on the game or the icing on the cake or whatever you want to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, a man with the dog mentality, Pagano, Coach Sirianni. Yes. You're fucking awesome, dude. Did you ever feel any pressure that you were going to have to change and adapt to being a head coach and speaking in the same bullshit ways that every other head coach talks in?
Some of the best advice I got was be yourself, because if you're not yourself, everyone's going to see through it.
The messaging is the same. You're just doing it in your own way, and I think that's the most important part. And being authentic, you're 100% right. As you were saying, if I wasn't me, everybody would tell the fucking locker room immediately going to be like, well, this guy, he's a stooge. There's another coach that wants to talk to you. Coach Sirianni, your question for Coach Sirianni.
I feel like I know you just as good as I know myself.
What is it about Jalen, you think, from your point of view, last year to this year, that is like cementing him as a guy that people are talking about? This motherfucker might win the MVP.
Well, I know which one thing you want me to say. He's a dog.
Yeah! Yeah!
He's a dog.
Yeah! Fucking dog!
Do you maybe want to play best 2 out of 3, rock, paper, scissors, coach first coach?
You're there forever, huh? Like you have to have that mindset as the head coach. Like, do you feel like you're the perfect head coach for the Philadelphia Eagles? Because it feels like the team is the perfect representative of the city of Philadelphia. And I might be wrong. I'm from Pittsburgh, so the Johns are going to judge me for that.
I love the passion of the city and how much they care about football because I care about football. I love football. I don't have a lot of hobbies. My biggest hobby is football.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
What you got?
Scissors.
Yeah, the same person.
Okay.
We both threw scissors.
Dog mentality really is to be in the moment that you're in now and not worry about what happened in the past, not worry about what's going to happen in the future. It's all about our process and about being here today to make sure we're about to go 1-0 this week. That's it.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, rough.
I definitely got Jason Kelce the kegs of beer. I was just trying to sweeten the deal of him coming back. As long as I'm the football coach here, I want him here, so I'm ready to give as many kegs of beer to him next year and the year after that and the year after that because that guy is a dog.
Rock, paper, scissors,
shoot.
Same man.
We are getting our ass kicked in this preseason game. Belichick is taking it to us. It's halftime, and we are getting booed like you've never been. I was like,
paper,
rock, paper,
scissors,
shoot.
Oh, I think you might have rock there, but hey.
You got no idea what I'm going to do because you're like, there's no way he's throwing scissors again. Come on, baby. I got a damn flower thrown at me. Right? A flower chucked down. We lost to the Chargers. Boom, flower chucked down.
Hey, how's your little manure settling in? That's literally what that John said as they were throwing that John at you. They were like, how's the manure and how's the flowers coming, coach?
Hey, this is game 7 here. Rock, paper,
scissors, shoot.
Scissors again. He threw scissors again, so did I. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, you guys are the same. Come on, hey, this is for 15 or 10.
Paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh! Dog mentality.
I got dog mentality, coach. What can I tell you?
Let me tell a tale about this little blue can. Inside there's a nectar love from here to Japan. It's a vibe, it's a time, ice cold over lime, so sublime.
This shit is divine.
It's the beer of choice when you wanna rejoice. Hey yo boys, what's the noise? Hey yo boys, what's the noise? Well, us and Bud Light have made it a fish. We bring the stoogery, they bring delish. Feels like a genie just granted us a wish. Cause for all of us, it was love at first sip. Now be a bud, tell a bud to grab some Bud Lights. Go and Drizzly Code is what? $5 off tonight. Go and Drizzly Code is what? $5 off tonight. Cause if you're living life right and you're drinking Bud Light and you wake up in the morning and you fight the good fight, then you're doing A-okay, doing A-okay. Matter of fact, you're doing great no matter what they say. Now, be a bud, tell a bud to grab some Bud Lights. Go and Drizzly Code is wide, $5 off tonight. $5 off tonight.
Wide.
Hey,
Why?
let's go.
This show fucking stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it. AJ, never cease to amaze me with your toxicity, pal.
You got a couple of these?
God damn it!
What the fuck are you doing?
Boston
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our humble abode, the FanDuel Thunderdome, on this Coach Pagano. Darius Butler, Thursday, February 2nd, 2023. Hour 2 starts now. Football! A little bit off. That's on me. Obviously missed the day yesterday because I caught a bug that made me destroy some toilets at the house. Thankful and excited to be back. Joining me, obviously, the Talks at Table at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer, Dahn, Cowboys turn Diggs. Obviously, 9-year NFL vet, host of Everything DB, Man-to-Man podcast, and NFL matchups on ESPN, ESPN2, and ESPN+. Darius J. Butler. Former head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, 30-plus years in the coaching ranks and business. Our coach, ladies and gentlemen, Coach Pagano. And joining us from Manatee, Ohio, a man who's a college football national champion, Super Bowl champion, Ryder Cup champion, COVID survivor, and a stallion of a host yesterday, AJ Hawk. What's up, AJ? How you doing, pal? Great haircut.
Whoa.
Great haircut.
I got a little trim pre-Super Bowl. How you feeling today, man? You feel like you still have any remnants left over?
I feel pretty good. I feel good. Now, I didn't eat for like 30 hours, so I lost some weight. I almost had a six-pack. I think I told the boys that. So this morning when I woke up feeling great, I was like kind of, I don't want to say like exhausted, but like, and I'm like, oh, I haven't eaten in like 30
Probably sore. Did you puke a lot?
No, it was mostly the basement where everything was coming through. You know what I mean? So I had a little fever coming out of the basement, and I slept a good amount. But then this morning, the fever broke. Poof, I was dripping. Hey, 2 a.m., I woke up. I thought I was actually in a pool. Like it was
drenched.
It was disgusting. I'd never felt that before. I'd heard other people talk about when your fever breaks and everything like that. I'd never experienced that before. It was nasty. So then I think I had to go pee, too, at the time, so I had enough to sweat and to pee. I was trying to stay as hydrated as possible. You texted me and were like, hey, get an IV or whatever. It's like, I don't like needles, but I am going to be force-feeding myself liquids, you know? And I get back to the bed, and it's like, now what? Am I just...
Oh, yeah.
What am I doing now?
You can't.
So I had to take the fucking things off the pillows. Had to put another blanket down because the bottom of it was nasty.
Good for you.
It was a full...
I would have just fucking laid in my filth. That's awesome.
No, how? It was...
Gross.
Put a towel down.
It was
Middle of the night, I mean, I'm just waiting till morning.
It was disgusting. There's no way. As a man who's never had wet socks before, I don't know if you fully understand what this would have felt like. It was. So it was at that, like last night before I went to bed, felt real good. Felt like much, much, much better. Then when that happens, and this morning I wake up, I'm like, oh, I'm fucking back. You know what I mean? I'm all the way back. But then I was like, kind of body was a little slow. I was like, haven't eaten anything. Had a nice breakfast this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck brought these donuts in. So if I'm doing keto and I fast for 30 hours, though, I can eat a donut probably today, right?
Yeah, you need to reset. You need to treat.
Yeah.
You got to treat your body. Your body needs that sugar, needs everything.
You gotta be careful, though. You don't spike that sugar too high too quickly.
Yeah, because then you get the, what was that?
You get the shakes.
Yeah.
What do they look like, though?
What do you mean?
That was good.
Sugar shakes.
We should make a.
I don't think I've
Give
ever had
that.
I don't think I've ever got it. You probably don't eat that much sugar though.
Well, I do, but I mean, I don't. You can feel like kind of sick if you eat a bunch of like dessert or something. I don't get shakes.
Boiled chicken doesn't have that much
AJ
sugar
hasn't
in it.
had dessert since his 12th birthday.
guys
So
What's dessert? Oh, I don't know. We're getting a roasted chicken today.
yeah, okay, cool.
Instead of a grilled chicken.
Putting ranch on it.
My
You
wife,
guys have no idea.
we do.
Yeah.
We've been with you for long enough
time.
periods of time on enough occasions where we know you, dude.
Prove us wrong next week.
Yeah,
okay?
we know you.
Boom.
I've been looking at. I hope there's a Cheesecake Factory that delivers to the house out in Arizona.
Mini
Have you
hot
seen-
dogs.
Hey, have you seen those houses we're staying at out there?
I saw Zeet sent me the one. Yeah, it looks pretty amazing. I would
We got
say.
a golf course in the backyard.
Really?
Bring the club. Actually, we'll just hope the clubs are there.
Well, and definitely going to need to use it.
Yeah, I might be doing something at the golf thing.
Here we go.
Now we're talking.
Waste management.
Yeah, not playing.
Oh
in it.
yeah.
Not
At
playing.
the Waste Management or at the Pro Bowl?
At the Waste Management.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
I don't know. It just got brought up in a conversation yesterday with the person over. I guess there's a hole-in-one thingy that happens over there.
Here we go.
Shot to glory is what it's called.
Which is the hole everyone knows from the Coors Lights getting thrown on it.
Boom. That
16th hole.
16th hole. Yes, that is what it is. They just reached out and asked if I wanted to participate in some hole. Because with the timing of our show and the timing of the thing, there's no way that I could play in it. Not that they asked me to, or if they even know that we have this show and that I couldn't play in it. But they did reach out if I wanted to be a part of the glory hole. And
pretty sweet.
I'll tell you what.
We know you do.
Hell yeah, I do. Find that gold, pal. What's going on?
Called the Glory Hole?
No, it's called Shot at Glory, but seems
But it
like
is
affectionately known as the
now,
glory
yeah, the
hole.
glory.
yeah, 16th hole, the glory hole, Shot at Glory hole. Yeah, we already did the research. 125 I'm taking a pitching wedge. I'm going out there, and I'm probably putting it right in the fucking hole as if I'm pro golfer on PGA.
What do you win? Do you win like $1 million or something?
100,000. I think it's 100,000 to charity or whatever.
Yep.
Fucking
Make that thing.
Hell yeah. Why not? I assume you're going to be able to do the same. You want in it?
I don't know. What day you doing that?
Wednesday, I think.
I'll go around there with you. I've never been to the course. I hear it's awesome.
Just say you want to, we'll just say.
Yeah. I'll drain that thing.
Okay, I think we just kind of got you in there. I don't know anybody that's doing any of this, and this is obviously a massive event, and people much more important to the world than us are going to be there and doing their thing. But I believe the person that Zito's been in contact with over there has wanted to up our relationship with the PGA.
Here we go.
That's smart.
Now.
Colt? You talking about Nosti?
No, I did like Nosti asking those hard-hitting questions to your guy, Aaron Rodgers. He seemingly said this morning he was not going to San Francisco. Is that an accurate read from your standpoint, new haircut A.J. Hawk?
I am unaware of the interview that Aaron did with Colt Nost, but I never thought San Francisco was really even in the picture, was it?
Well, I think a lot of people in San Francisco were potentially thinking about a veteran quarterback making their way there. Tom Brady was the one that everybody thought might end up in San Francisco because of his affinity for the team as a child. Obviously, we have that photo as him as a young buck with the 49ers jacket on and his face being held in his mom's arms, and they love the Niners. That's how it got him into football. Obviously, Montana and everything like that. They're going to need a quarterback for at least the first couple months of the season if they're not going to go with Brock Purdy, who obviously has a torn UCL, not nerve damage like it was reported at halftime by Terry Bradshaw. He has to get Tommy John 6 to 9 months recovery, let alone on the back end of that whole thing, what it's going to be like. Trey Lance obviously going to get his opportunity to be a guy again, or were they going to go with a veteran quarterback? Everybody was hoping maybe Tom Brady, now hoping maybe Aaron Rodgers. Colt Nost this morning on the hole-in-one challenge, I believe, asked Aaron before he teed off if he's going to San Francisco or if he liked having a star on the side of his helmet for Dallas Cowboys. He said, I'm not going to San Fran. Then he hit the ball. Does that mean he's going to Dallas?
Whoa.
Maybe.
I don't know. What do you think of? Isn't Jerry saying they're about to extend? Or they'd be willing to extend Dak Prescott?
Stephen Jones said they would like to extend Dak Prescott. I believe Jerry said they were looking at a potential quarterback.
Drafting one every year.
Sure.
Drafting a quarterback. Yeah, Jerry Jones said the Cowboys are committed to drafting a quarterback. He said he should have committed to drafting one every year years ago. Now, remember, Jerry Jones has been running the Cowboys draft 55 years.
Yep.
That's right.
So him saying now I'm drafting a quarterback every single year and I should have done this years ago is awesome, fantastic. He's like, over the years, this is what I have learned. It is an interesting whole turn and series of events, though, because what Steven's saying, I think, is a make good for what Jerry said to Dak and Dak's people, but Dak has zero guaranteed money on the books after 2023. So Stephen Jones coming out and saying that they are looking to extend Dak, and Dak is the quarterback of the future, is big news for not only the Cowboys, but for Dak's people in a leverage standoff.
Yeah, and for Jerry, too, he just lost to Brock Purdy. And the Niners traded up to get Trey Lance. That was their guy. What do they do the next year? They draft another dude, and he turns out to be the guy who was leading them to the NFC Championship.
Say Aaron's not in the NFC next year. Where's Dak as far as quarterbacks in the NFC go?
People have forgotten how fucking good he is.
Oh, yeah.
Just because the Niners defense did what the Niners defense did to him. Now, what the Philadelphia Eagles were able to accomplish against that Niners defense was certainly an ass beating. And did they maybe tap out because they couldn't attempt a forward pass on the offensive side of the ball, which is certainly a detriment to your team being able to win. But Dak Prescott, I think he had the most touchdowns over a series of the year this year after like week 12 towards the end of it. He's had success. He's done well. But everybody remembers what you've done for me lately, and they're the Cowboys. Do you think the Dak criticism is fair or unfair, Darius J. Butler?
It's definitely fair. It comes with the position. That's what you sign up for, especially on America's team. And, played, 12 games, led the league in interceptions, had that streak where he was, turning the ball over.
7 straight.
Yeah, we talk about all the time, the ball is a program, regardless of what else you do. So, yeah, the criticism is definitely fair for Dak. As far as A-Rod, though, I feel like we know where he's going now. I've been saying the Packers for the last few weeks, but after that Devontae Adams tweet I saw.
Oh, D-Bud.
He's not going to Las Vegas.
on,
That is a
D-Bud.
place where people thought Tom Brady was also going to go. So I guess that does open the door for maybe Aaron to Vegas. And Devontae said he's going to my neighborhood.
Hell yeah.
And then Devontae also put on his IG story some highlights of him and Aaron slicing and dicing and back shoulders and everything like that. Devontae reminiscing on the glory days, joining us now. Maybe a man that has answers. And if he does have answers, he won't tell us, which is a damn shame. He's a senior insider for the NFL, both the league itself and the network that it owns and the streaming service, NFL Plus. Ladies and gentlemen, host of the weekly wrap-up with Rap Sheet and Friends, us being the friends, he being Rap Sheet, Ian Rappaport.
What's up, guys?
Bad weather in Mobile, or are you just hung over and getting the chills?
I feel great. Had a good exercise this morning. Its weather is not great, but we got some drills going on over here. Hold on, let me see if I can flip this. Nope, missed it. Hold on, bad one. I don't know how to flip the camera. Hold on, let me do that.
There you go. Well, lower right corner is where
There's
it
some
is.
drills going on, but I'm feeling good.
Couldn't see anything there with how quick it was, but we do appreciate you at least giving us a peek at the action, and we appreciate you taking time out of your life to join us. We're going to talk about what we were just chatting about right there. Tom Brady retiring, off the board for the Niners, if that was a real possibility, we don't know. Off the board for the Raiders, if that was a real possibility, we don't know. Does this mean Aaron Rodgers going to the Raiders, especially after what Davante Adams said, or is Aaron Rodgers going to the Indianapolis Colts like everybody else thinks on earth?
This is welcome to the Colts, right? So first of all, the Davante Adams tweet. I know that players like to stir it up. I know that players like to have some fun. I know that Davante Adams knows that his buddy Derek Carr is not going to be back under almost any circumstances with the Las Vegas Raiders. So, if Aaron Rodgers is going to be traded, would the Raiders be a possibility? I would say somewhat. I mean, one thing we know about Dave Ziegler, the GM, is he will swing big. He did it for Devontae last year. They could do it. They could do it cap space-wise. They could do it money-wise. They could do it pick-wise. So I would say at least it would be something that would probably be considered. But here's the thing with Rodgers, right? Like, he's easily the best player available, regardless of position. So every team will have to consider him. So it's like you could ask about almost any team and it'd be like, well, could they get Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, I think that would make some sense. So that's kind of where we're at for the next month, I think. If Rodgers wants to be traded, which,
No. That ain't the... Hey. Say this right, Rap. If the Green Bay Packers want to move on to the Jordan Love era and they would like to do that, then Aaron would have to be open to the trade. Is that what you meant by that, or...
It could go either way, because I think what it is, if there's a mutual understanding of, all right, we want Rodgers to be back. Like, I would say this, if Rodgers wants to be back in Green Bay, I think there's a very good chance that he's back in Green Bay. That is my educated guess on the whole situation. If he says, guys, one more run, let's do it, I'm back. Hard to imagine that.
I think that's kind of breaking news, right? I think that's kind of breaking news, because what's been reported by the person that you had a source off with just yesterday or 2 days ago, he was reporting. What's that?
I don't remember that, but okay.
Oh, we'll get to it. We'll remind you here. Don't worry. It's the next topic of conversation after AJ gets his question in. But he was basically reporting that a trade is imminent.
Yeah.
And we assumed that was coming from the other side of the conversation, which would be the Packers, because we have convos with the other half of that conversation, Aaron. And the way Aaron laid it out was, do I want to still play? I have to take my process to figure that out. And do they look to move on? If they are looking to move on to the next era with Jordan and his young crew, there's no malice and everything like that. So I think both sides were taking the time to figure out what they wanted to do. Then when they come together, they're going to be able to do what they have to do for both parties. What you're saying is kind of, if Aaron wants to stay, they're going to be able to, that's big news. I think that is kind of breaking news coming out there, Ian.
I don't see it like that. I see it kind of like a return to play situation for the player, right? It's like when we're trying to figure out, is the player going to come back from injury? It's like there's the player, there's the team, and there's the medical. And everyone has to be on the same page to get a player back on the field. So to me, like, this is sort of like this. There's so many moving parts. Does he want to be back? Like, I think if he does want to play and if he wants to be back with the Packers, hard to imagine them saying, actually, no, we don't want you. I I don't believe that's breaking news, although I'd love to claim it if it happens. But I think that would be the way it would go. Now, if they do want to deal him, it sounds, based on what he said on your show 2 days ago, whenever that was, that if they want to move on, it sounds like he'd be okay with that. And my guess is he would probably find a place that would like to welcome one of the best players we've seen in the last couple of decades to play on their team.
Right here in Indy. Go ahead, AJ. Come on.
I don't know about that, but Ian, what do you think? Like, what kind of timeline are we looking at? When can we expect anything to happen with this whole situation?
Period 6. Team.
Hold on, period
6 already.
But I lost the first part of your question, but I assume you said, what is the timeline?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I'm moving. Players are coming at me. I'm
Yeah,
moving.
Smart's team.
Tackle one of them.
Didn't they say
Try to
team
form-
period? They're going
form
to be on the
tackle.
sideline, I think, Bub. I think you're okay. I don't think they're going to be doing anything over there. As somebody who has had to stand around at practice before.
Anyway.
A lot of them.
Anyway, to answer your question, let me just sit on some of these pads since they're just nobody's using these things. Anyway,
Those might.
This guy.
So those might get used. Yeah, whatever. Go on, pal. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I love it.
So, these things are happening faster and faster, right? Like, remember the Matthew Stafford Goff trade happened like as everyone was coming back from the Senior Bowl, which would basically be in 2 days, but it was like a couple years ago. The Derek Carr trade, if there's going to be a trade, which I still think is possible, would happen around the time of Super Bowl week. So you're talking within the next 2 weeks or so. Once one thing happens, things generally accelerate. So if Aaron Rodgers is going to be traded, which again I believe is possible, then it would probably happen in that window of a week or two before free agency. It's just once you start talking, if everyone's on the same page, if he wants to come back, it all will happen pretty quickly because if you want to get him, you want to get him now, right?
Yeah, there's a hooded male over your shoulder. It's hard not to see that. Yep, on the show. What's up, bud? Welcome to the program. Good to have you. Thanks for being on here. Are those the locals there, autograph hounds? Who do you think that is normally during practice on a Thursday at the Senior Bowl?
I haven't been signing a lot of autographs, so I assume they're not a
Okay.
All right. Let's
Okay.
move on. Wrap our side of the conversation saying the same timeline, couple weeks.
Yep.
So we're right here in the middle of it. We're about to learn a lot. We'll just kind of sit and wait for that to take place. Let's talk about some timelines that happened in a source off. Yeah. Okay, so you reported that the Broncos were chatting with DeMeco Ryans as close as of the day that he signed with the Texans, trying to get him out of the Texans into the Denver Broncos. And then Shefty came in and said that is not the case. Had not talked to DeMeco this week. They zoned in on Sean Payton. The Texans zoned in on DeMeco. The reason why this is a big deal is just strictly optically to the Broncos fan base and to everybody in the building about what and how this all took place, on whether it's not it's good business or bad business. What are your thoughts on the whole source off that you just had there? And do you wish we would stop bringing it up?
I don't mind people talking about it, just like I don't mind anyone reporting something contradictory to what I said. Like, I mean, I know it's fun to call it a source off, whatever, but for me, like, I reported what I had based on the best information I can get, based on talking to many, many people throughout the course of the last month. And then whatever happens as a result of this, like, I don't really mind. Like, I know people sort of seem like it's me versus Schefter. I don't even think that. It's just I report what I know. He reports what he knows, and then everyone can sort of judge for themselves whichever way to go. My understanding of the situation is the Broncos started this process with 3 top candidates, and that was Dan Quinn, Jim Harbaugh, and Sean Payton. They wanted to swing big. Quinn said, I'm going back to the Dallas Cowboys. They loved DeMeco Ryans. He was their guy. And then they went to Michigan to go try to talk to Jim Harbaugh. They didn't make an offer, but I think it's very clear that, that was serious enough where they literally went to his town, maybe even his house, wherever they went, tried to get that done. Did not happen. Obviously DeMeco Ryans at that point made it clear that if he was going to pick someone, it would probably be the Texans. They focused on Sean Payton, went back to DeMeco to see if his deal was getting done in Houston. It was getting done, and they finalized it with Sean Payton. And, it's like, I don't know about the optics, but, like, that is a long, winding search to end up with a coach who I think a lot of people thought would be a top candidate. But they had their eyes somewhere else for several different moments.
Well, D'Amico is obviously hot to trot because of what he's been able to do. You broke that he was going back to Houston pretty much like a week before it came out. So I think you should feel good about it. But I do like a good source off. And I appreciate the fact that you don't view it as you versus Schefter, but you two are at the top of the game. So that's a compliment more so than anything. And obviously we appreciate your time here. And it's a damn shame nobody's asking you for your autograph with all of your incredible hard work. Sean Payton getting 17 to 20 million, they're saying. What's D'Amico getting? Do you know?
Coaching salaries are weird because they're not public. I think this is not reporting, but this is my guess based on the accumulation of information.
Pundit hat.
Yep.
I believe you're accurate on that number. It's going to be very high for Sean Payton.
Shout out to me.
It's going to be very high. D'Amico would be less because he's a first-year coach and does not have a Super Bowl and didn't have the sort of, I don't know, I hate to call it circus because it wasn't that, but didn't have the drama involved in Sean Payton. There's no salary cap, so if the Broncos wanted to pay him $30 million, they could do it.
I heard there was an agreement with the other owners. He wouldn't do that.
I don't know if that's the case.
But
if I were in make an agreement, and then I would just be like, and whatever I want because you can't stop me and there's no salary cap, so leave me alone. But I'm not an owner.
Well, Haslam did that last year.
Yeah.
There was an agreement. Then he said, nope, fuck you guys. We've been bad for way too long. $230 million guaranteed, every dollar of it. Don't care if he's good or not. Good luck to everybody else keeping up. Let's talk about a coaching search that's taking place right here in Indianapolis. Heard there's a third round of interviews. Is that real or are they just delaying till after the Super Bowl to really dive in with somebody they might like?
I think that's real. Now, I'm not, there is a possibility that go out to, Glenn's in today and then Steichen's in either tomorrow or Saturday and they go, all right, we're good. But I don't know if you know this, Pat, but when Jim Irsay talks, a lot of times it's a really long time. He talks for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
These interviews have been marathons. You walk into that very cold office, you're there for multiple hours, and then you got to come back, and then you got to come back again, and I don't know if it's the best search or the most thorough search or the worst search, but they're going to end up with a coach, and then we'll see. And I don't know if any of this matters, but maybe he just wants to torture all of us to force us to talk about it through, like, the draft or something.
Till the draft?
Hope not. Christ.
That'd be awesome.
Makes sense.
I would be real sour. I'd be real sour.
Is this pundit hat or a fucking is anybody coming out or any source? Yeah. Balls. Watch your six there, pal.
Man.
Got balls flying around. Could you imagine you get Bosa'd?
That'd be awesome.
Man. Get a cleat tossed right into the side of the arm or something while you're
back of the neck.
The Bosa thing was crazy. I'm actually surprised we don't see that more. I can't believe that's the first time we've seen that.
That's what I'm saying. Like AJ, the only time he ever got hurt was on a punt play, and then standing on the sidelines, they wouldn't even let Von Miller stand there because how dangerous it is. Punters are able to handle both the most dangerous play and the sideline at all times. It's something that we need to add to our resume. It scares me though that the Colts have not found who they like, because if you haven't found who you like, are you ever going to find who you like? And if nobody's jumping off the board, why are we having them in there for 3 fucking times?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What else do we need? 12 hours, I heard one of these interviews.
I don't know if it's 12, but it's extremely long.
Like 8 hours, 10 hours? What is extremely long?
Yeah, something like that. Like 8 hours. Now, I'm kind of with you in that, like, if you have to take that, like, shouldn't you know? But maybe they do know, and they just want to make sure. And, like, what do these guys do? Come in again? Like, they have to come in. So, I don't know. It is unprecedented as far as I can tell.
12 hours is so long.
Yeah. And you know who the owner wants, and maybe that's why it's taking a little
What are you talking about? Are you talking about Saturday?
Yeah, Jim wants Saturday, and Ballard is doing everything in his power to hire someone else.
Well, or there's maybe a Super Bowl coach that hasn't been able to make his way for a 12-hour interview
Yeah, that could
in
be.
Indianapolis that maybe is at the top of the list, and they are not just sure yet, so they're trying everybody else. What's that?
No. I would say that's possible, and I kind of wonder. Like the Cardinals have someone in today. They have Brian Callahan from the Bengals, and if they don't hire someone over the next 24 hours, you'll be like, maybe they're waiting for, Shane Steichen, maybe Jonathan Gannon. That would make sense.
Did they say special teams there?
Yeah, this is my time to shine. Yep.
What is this, punt?
This is where I do my analysis. Hold on, what are we doing here?
Field
Someone's
goal?
kicking.
Say someone's kicking something.
Is that,
I don't know.
Is that a field goal or a punt, Rap? I mean,
It's
He doesn't know.
I don't know what's going on, to be honest.
Here, turn the thing around. That guy's got sweet khakis. I can't fucking see shit. Yeah, I can't. This is your life all the time, huh? This level.
I mean, look, there's some advantages. Like, if I had to sit and coach, I still got plenty of leg room, whereas a lot of people are really fighting for leg room. On the other hand, you do not have a great vantage point to see some things. So,
how is the Senior Bowl this year? Is it good?
I mean, seems good. Seems good players. Like, there's not as many coaches and GMs as there usually are.
See, it's dying. We told you this. You didn't even know. We were breaking the news to you. This is done. Senior Bowl is done.
Any head coaches?
There's head coach. It's just not that many because the coverage is so good that you don't need to be here. And what I think we got punting, pal. We got punting.
Yeah, who are they? Do you know who the punters are?
Oh yeah. They got one name is come on. I can't read it. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know. And then there's another.
Come on. They didn't hand you a roster?
And then they go to commercial? I mean, what the fuck? We're watching the live feed of it right here on the backboard.
Disrespectful.
That's how we learned it was the punt period. That's what the Senior Bowl is for the kickers and the punters, though. Just absolutely, hopefully they change all rap. Oh, yeah, it's that,
I know this guy.
Kid from Michigan State.
Hey, we told you, though, Senior Bowl, they did something. We don't know what it is, right? Different vibe this year than years past.
It's just, I mean, it is a little different, but I don't think it's going anywhere because it's too helpful.
Yeah, the Shrine Bowl will become what this is. Darius has a question for you.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, you spoke briefly about the Derek Carr situation. I saw a report yesterday saying the Raiders weren't allowing him to seek a trade, which sounded weird to me. Is that normal with the teams?
I mean, there's a couple different ways to do it. He has a no-trade clause. So what you could do is just go, like, Derek, you go find the team. So I think that would be one thing they could potentially do. They're not going about it that way. It sounds like they are trying to find a trade partner, and then we'll present him with whatever options there are. Now, they are going to be extremely thorough. I would imagine they'll talk to every team, and they'll know, is there a market or is there not, and then present it to him. And I don't know this for, like, absolute sure, but my guess is before he agrees to anything, he's going to want to talk to one person, multiple people, to figure out if that's the right fit. So, like, this is not the normal trade. Like, all right, agreed to terms, like, let's go. It's like, all right, we agreed to terms. What does Derek want? I think that is part of it. But that's why it's, probably a little more complicated, and that's why these quarterback trades are hard to do.
Tone.
Ian, with Tom retiring, now there's another place with a quarterback opening up. Is Jimmy G in line to be a starter next year, do you think, in any of these teams that are looking for a quarterback?
I do think he's in line to be a starter. It sort of depends on what you want. But depending on if Derek Carr is a free agent or not, if Derek Carr is not a free agent, if he gets traded, Garoppolo might be the top. I mean, he's a starter. He's got plenty of experience. He took a team to a Super Bowl. It's not going to be like crazy, crazy, crazy expensive. I think he'll be really attractive, and I do think he'll be a starter. And I think, there's some other guys that I wonder about too, like, will Baker be a starter? Will Minshew be a starter?
Nope.
Will Tannehill be a starter if the Titans do something with him? Like, it's a good class. I wouldn't say it's like the greatest class ever, but it is a good one.
So if Tannehill is out at Tennessee, that would mean Willis is in?
I'm not so sure about that. I mean, now I would say let's play it forward a little bit. Let's say Tannehill, they do decide to trade him or cut him, or I don't even know. They decide he's not a starter. Rand Carthon is their new GM. He came from San Francisco.
Trey Lance.
Oh, right. No, I don't think so. But Jimmy G might.
Jimmy G in Nashville, Tennessee.
Run game. He
Sweet.
loves run
Could
game.
you imagine him in Nashville? I could, actually.
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean by that?
What's that?
What do you mean?
He's incredibly handsome and charming.
Yeah.
There's going to be songs written about fucking Jimmy G. He goes to Nashville,
Does he have raw
Tennessee.
land down there?
I think so. I don't know if he has raw land like Aaron does, but Aaron was down there visiting the Bakhtiaris.
Yep.
Obviously, the whole family, the Cobb family,
Right.
is down there. He didn't stop by and see Vrabes. Great question from AJ. But I don't know if Jimmy G has raw land I think you would roll something else, Dahn. Time for your question for Rap.
Yeah, Rap Sheet, I know you mentioned that the Cardinals have Brian Callahan and some other people coming in, but we really still haven't heard much about that. Is that job considered kind of like a dumpster fire? Or is it like, I mean, why is the Colts one kind of the one that everyone's talking about it when it seems like the Cardinals also have no idea what the hell they're doing?
See, I don't really see it like that. The Cardinals have been quieter, but their search has been kind of just regular, like methodical but regular, and they've interviewed good candidates. The Colts one is more of a curiosity because there's so many and so many rounds, and I don't know how many rounds it's going to end up being, but a lot of them. The Cardinals is just kind of a regular search. I think it's a pretty good job. I think it's certainly more than okay. The GM is really respected. The Kyler not being ready to start the season makes it difficult and leads to some difficult decisions. But I don't think it's a bad job. I just, because there is some talent there. There really is.
They're going to have to get we're watching the punt period right now that you are refusing to
Oh, yeah,
watch.
me too. No, that's what I'm doing also.
How's the guy been hitting? He's been hitting good balls? That one wasn't
Yeah.
bad.
That guy, I'm a big fan of
Oh, not that good.
I don't know who that is, actually. Whoever that is.
Beringer, I think is his name. Somebody just tweeted me.
Go green.
That's
Yeah,
actually what I was.
he wears rec specs.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Nice.
Tom Bear.
Actually
Tom
won
Berenger,
Michigan State
yeah.
games last year. Not even kidding.
Really?
Yes, he's pretty good.
Wow. All right, let's go, Beringer. Good
you
luck
go,
out there.
Beringer.
Bomb some balls, pal.
Did a great job in Major League. Jake Taylor in Major League.
Not bad.
Connor, your question for Ian Rappaport, who is continuing to practice positionism in a massively disrespectful way that I can't believe I continue to allow you to be on the program. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Rapshi, I just want to let you know, from me that I was actually on Schefter's side on the source off, so I apologize. But when we're talking about Matt Rule and David Tepper, is Tepper going to make him like a speed bump in the courtroom, or how is that going to go? And is Rule going to waste all his money trying to get $5 million?
Will he spend $10 million to win not having to pay $5 million?
Yes.
Great question, Connor.
First of all, I appreciate the transparency. I don't hold it against you. Like I said, once the news is out there, everyone can make their own decision. I just know what I think. Anyway,
Nice.
the lawsuit is long. I have not read it completely yet, and I don't want to say something honestly dumb that without really knowing the facts. So I know it's going to be interesting, and I know legally there's some like kind of fun, fascinating stuff there, but I don't know enough about it to where I should be saying anything that will probably get me in trouble.
What?
Ian, what about
Who'd you
what
get in
about
trouble
Kansas
with?
City?
Yeah.
No. Just say something wrong.
Even this guy's scared of Tepper.
Everybody's
Holy
scared
shit.
of Tepper, bro. He's a fucking.
No,
he's a
holy
dog,
shit.
dude. He is. Sorry about that. Go ahead, AJ.
What about Eric Bieniemy? Is he still in the running? Like, could any of these teams that these guys that haven't hired anybody, is he going to get an interview? Like, what's going on? He was obviously last couple off seasons top of the list.
Yeah, I haven't heard that he's eliminated from Indy, so I think there is a possibility that he could be part of the
Fourth round.
however many rounds there are. But I think Bieniemy's really in play for a play-calling OC job, a couple different places. Baltimore, I think the Commanders is really one to consider. And, so you'd be like, well, he's already an OC. Why would he leave Mahomes? He shares play-calling with Andy Reid. I mean, he does a lot of it, but he shares it.
That's breaking news again.
Yeah.
You said this before. That is massive news if that's the case.
I think that is out there. I mean,
I
look,
don't.
also-
Because the conversation is always Andy Reid does all the play calling. So when you're hiring, just like, no offense to him, Shane Steichen right now over in Philadelphia with Sirianni, you can kind of go around all the head coaches that call plays. Kafka over there with Dayball. I don't know if he's calling plays or I think Dayball let him call plays.
No. Kafka's calling plays. It's actually pronounced Kafka, and he's calling plays.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that correction. But these guys that don't call plays, I think it is automatically like a hit. Like, okay, he's a part of the offense, he is, but Andy Reid's the guy calling the plays. You saying, I think you said this a couple weeks ago, that they're splitting play calling duties. That was news to me. You saying it's already out there, maybe. I feel like we live in this world. I did not know that. Is that true? Is that factual statement? He also does call plays?
I just know he does a lot. Like, does he physically say the words to the quarterback? Probably not, but I know he's very, very, very involved. But it's different. When you're, let's say he's a play
That's calling plays.
What's that mean, Rapshi?
Let's say he's a play calling OC for a defensive head coach like Ron Rivera or for John Harbaugh. It does put him in a little bit of a different category, and it sets him up maybe to be a better head coach in the future in the minds of the owners, even though I think that's kind of dumb because being a head coach has almost nothing to do with whether or not you call plays. It's all like leadership and such. But anyway, that's kind of where it is now.
Now, with that being said, that's the issue with having a defensive head coach. If Bieniemy goes into any of these places and has success, he's going to be a head coach after 1 year, and that coach is going to have to re-find another Eric Bieniemy, which seemingly there isn't a lot of. Also, hopefully Bieniemy is a good play caller in the games, which we have seen some people who have offensive, brilliant minds, not necessarily great play callers, because it takes a skill to call plays. I think that's always been the thing that fans think about Eric Bieniemy is like, well, Andy Reid's calling the plays, even though a lot of players and other people have given him credit for a lot of the creativity and the designing of the plays. The play calling is such a big conversation. But if he's a head coach, you can bring in an offense coordinator to run your offense.
Right.
Seems like he should get another shot at it. Chuck has a question for you, Ian Rappaport.
Hey, Ian, with Sean going to Denver and D'Amico being a defensive guy, going to Houston, we know Vic was always tied in the conversations leading up to Sean getting back in it. Vic Fangio was going to be his defensive coordinator. Obviously not going back to Denver, signed up with Miami. We saw that. Do you think E.J. Evero stays in Denver, number one? Do you have any information on that? And from an offensive standpoint, and D'Amico down in Houston, who do you think the offensive coordinator is? There a guy out there that you've heard that is tied to D'Amico that he's going to bring in there to run his offense?
Okay, we'll start with the Ejiro Evero one first. He's meeting with Payton, I believe, today to figure out if he's going to get out or if he has to stay. We'll see what they decide. I know he is going to be very coveted. I know there's some teams who would like him as their DC. You know, there's not a lot of precedent for teams forcing guys to stay after passing them over for jobs. You know, would Sean Payton really do that as his first decision as a head coach? I don't know, but we'll find out today. As far as the OC in Houston, Bobby Slowick is a name that interviewed yesterday, I believe. They interviewed a couple yesterday, but Slowick, who's the pass game coordinator with the 49ers, I think is a pretty strong candidate in Houston. He's young. He's got a really good reputation. Obviously knows D'Amico. I think those two went at it in practice every day in San Francisco. So that would be probably one of the names to watch is there in Houston.
Used to coach for the Washington football team before they were called the Washington football team.
Oh.
Slowick. That would be another one from that coaching staff if he was to climb the ranks, I do believe. I just Googled images here. Looks like a 12-year-old in this photo, but he certainly has the Washington football team logo on his chest before they were the Washington football team. Ian.
Yeah, I think that's right. I trust you on that one. That's Wikipedia, right? They do a good job.
Wikipedia does do a great job.
They do.
I mean, every once in a while, they will certainly troll people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Like
fuck
if
around.
you lose, like if you say a quarterback is late to meetings
Yeah.
and the quarterback isn't late to meetings, boy, they go to your Wikipedia. What's that?
This rings a bell. Go ahead.
We love Guy.
Love him.
But he's going to be dancing in those waters for a little bit of time. You know what I mean? A little bit of time. What's the big story coming out of there? Mike Tomlin?
I don't know if there's any Mike Tomlin stories unless there's something that's broken while we're talking.
He wants an offensive lineman, right?
Yeah, he's down there staring at the O-line.
He's just been with the O-line the entire time. Last year, he was with the quarterbacks the entire time. They take Kenny Pickett at 20.
I saw your friend Omar Khan, the GM, walk by as we were talking. So let me go get some information from him and see what we come up with.
All right, we appreciate you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week, I believe, at Radio Row.
You know, live and in person. You excited?
Hell yeah.
It's going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
All right, you're the man. Ladies and gentlemen, Ian Rappaport.
Everybody rap you.
Hey, Pat.
Yeah.
Perception-wise, don't we all think, and I was going to ask Ian, don't you think that Eric Bieniemy, if he leaves and goes and takes another offensive coordinator's job, all right, and proves that he can do it on his own, and he gets out from under the whole Andy Reid discussion, that would definitely benefit him. Regardless of where he goes, he needs to get out from underneath that whole thing. Well, he doesn't call him, he does. He's, they're splitting play calling.
A lot of success over there, though.
Yeah.
Maybe in the middle of a dynasty.
No,
It's tough just
and if you're okay being that the rest of your coaching career, then he has to stare that in the face.
If he wants to be a head coach, I think he's going to have to end up going out on his own and having success or whatever. But, like, him saying he calls some of the plays and then immediately saying, I don't know if he's actually saying the words of the plays.
So he's not calling the plays.
That would be calling plays. I think he designs the plays, though. Is that what you got out of that, AJ?
Yeah, I guess you're involved in game planning and putting the whole plan together throughout the week, but then you don't call the plays on game day.
Well, in the Ravens, of all teams to go to, isn't that the most different offense than
No, but
any other?
If you're Lamar and them, you're probably pretty pumped
Yes, you
that
are.
you're getting Bieniemy. And if you're a free agent, I think you would
Sure.
be much more likely on the offensive side to go to the Ravens if Eric Bieniemy's calling plays. I think.
I would love that if I'm Lamar. You know, obviously you're going to expand that passing offense, which people have been talking about. He can obviously throw the ball, but you bring a Bieniemy over there, like you said, more weapons, and then you get up out of that Andy Reid tree or underneath his tree. I would say I think it'd be great for him.
Yeah, because everybody just gives Andy Reid all the credit in the world for being successful from generation to generation. Because if we weren't to give him credit, we'd be rude and we'd be doing him a disservice. I assume there's been a lot of great coaches that have helped him out through the years, but being able to call plays and being able in the moment to make the play and play the chess game against a defensive coordinator is vastly different than just saying, hey, this is a good play. Knowing when, how, the proper timing, the feel is something that not everybody has, even the smartest of offensive minds.
Well, and they're obviously two different guys, but do you think people are kind of a little bit more hesitant given everything that just happened with Hackett? It's like, hey, same exact situation. He goes somewhere else, gets his opportunity to call plays, and then now they're kind of thinking like, oh, is it just the generational quarterback that they had and then someone else who was calling the plays? Like, this guy isn't in a position to call plays. We don't know if he'll be successful.
But on the other side of that, you got fucking Super Bowl head coach Sirianni didn't call plays in Indy.
Doug Peterson, before that, didn't call plays for Andy.
Kevin O'Connell didn't call plays before.
Zach Taylor
did
not call plays for the Rams.
Mike McDaniel didn't call plays.
So who knows?
Got to have the opportunity to fail.
True.
Got to have the opportunity to succeed. Could be one or the other, but I do believe that is something that I'm not saying that's what owners are thinking whenever they're deciding on whether or not to hire Bieniemy, and that whole conversation over the last 4 years has certainly warranted some discussion on like this guy gets an interview with everybody. How come he's not getting hired? Is it because he's a terrible interviewer? Is it because who knows what you dive into? Or is it because there's a fear that Andy Reid could make anybody good? And I think that's a bit unfair, especially with what the players have said, AJ.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, everything I hear about Bieniemy, the guy's an absolute stud. Holds his guys accountable. He's like a hard-driving coach. There's some clips of him coaching Adrian Peterson back in the day that he and Adrian, like they went to battle. Like it seemed like a fun relationship.
Andy Reid, same thing. Andy Reid, big attention to detail guy. Hey, we're going to have our socks. We're going to be tucked in. We're going to do this. Bieniemy, same type of thing. Because you see Travis Kelce having a good time and calling a mayor a jabroni and have his own podcast. You see Patrick Mahomes making these magical plays. I think the way their team is run is like a fucking, hey, this is how we do it. I don't want to say Patriot way, but there's a lot more accountability, I think, than anybody could ever fathom.
Yeah, structure and everything, that's important. Is that something that you would want? Like, between these last two teams and depending on how these Colts interviews go, would you want a Steichen or a Bieniemy, even though they haven't called plays, but they're bringing that system?
So as soon as Sirianni leaves, Frank forgets how to call plays.
Yeah.
True.
I don't know if we need to do that again with the whole not respecting Sirianni's brain decision here.
Sure.
But if we bring in Steichen, then we're just assuming that he learned enough and is good enough that he could potentially do a good job. But if he doesn't do good, we'll be fucked by the Sirianni effect yet again. For sure. Because Sirianni leaves Indianapolis, the offense looks vastly different when Sirianni leaves.
Yeah.
Vastly, vastly different.
Changes.
And the whole thing, Frank Reich just told Carolina reporters what went wrong in Indy. He said our run game disappeared. But, with Carson, we were not running the ball.
Throwing it.
Yeah, so it's, I love Frank. I think Frank's a good guy.
Yeah.
I think Frank will be able to have success as a head coach somewhere at some point. But, a lot of the things he's saying, it's like, whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
Would you be opposed if they were to hire Jeff Saturday and then they hire someone like Steichen or, like someone who hasn't had the opportunity to call plays before but is an OC?
Is Jeff going to get hired? Jeff's going to get that job, huh? It seems
For
like
sure. 100%.
Chuck Pagano, what are your thoughts on it all?
It seems like the longer it goes, he would have done it already. The longer it goes, I think his percentages go down. And to your point about replacing guys, like when Sirianni was here setting up things, O'Connell setting up things for Shanahan, that offensive coordinator, he's not calling the plays, but he's setting up everything. He's orchestrating the meetings because the head coach has to be other places. So when Sirianni left, who goes into the offensive coordinator role?
Mark's
Brady. No, Mark's Brady.
Oh, yeah, Mark's Brady. Yeah.
And who's the first to get fired?
Mark's Brady.
Mark.
So I think not having here, okay, we're going to lose this guy. He's a really good play caller, really good coach. He's going to get a head job. Who's next in line? Okay, and you may think it's somebody in the building because everything's going good. It may not be. You may have to go out and find another dude.
It's tough to hire good coaches. It's not easy to find. Shout out to Ian Rappaport from Radio Row last year. Correct. Sat like this for 20 minutes.
Yep. The entire time.
Hand on ear for 20 minutes.
Howdy.
That's literally what he did. 20 minutes.
It's so uncomfortable. It honestly is.
Yeah, I think he thought we couldn't hear him, so he had to hold that thing nice and tight. Mike worked for everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
I would have fit him
just fine.
The seat did swallow him, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The seat ate him up.
Yep.
A little bit.
But the words he was saying out of those beautiful microphones being held down were fantastic. Cannot wait to get to Radio Row.
Oh, I know. It's going to be amazing.
15 minutes he sat like this. You remember this, AJ?
Yeah, because we all had to sit like this as well, and he didn't even. Did he ever figure it out?
Nope. It's the very beginning. We thought, okay, because everybody came in at the beginning and adjusted the headset. Mm-hmm. Everybody adjusted.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're like, all right, status quo, status quo, status quo. Then he never let go, ever. And then the whole team just had to put their fucking hands up to the headphones.
Yeah. Okay, fuck it.
And I didn't even have them.
No, you had the earbuds.
I had to fucking, so what a scene. We can't wait to get to Radio Row. Talking about big guests.
Yeah, huge.
Huge ones.
Big guests next week. Big.
Both literally and in the world.
What does that mean?
Who's the big guest that you've heard of literally?
I don't want to tease it. I've just
zone?
seen the list that Zeke sent out of some of the guests that are scheduled to come
Obama?
on. Some tall humans.
Don't sleep on Barry. Yo.
I don't know how.
There it is, Zeke. Yes.
I don't know how or
Obama
why
on?
we got to that. President Obama will not be on our show at Radio Row. No presidents, actually, will ever be on this program. I assume.
Thank God.
You never know.
Just want to give a good, solid guess here. I'm predicting on this particular February 2nd, 2023, there will never be a president on this program.
I don't know, because what about president of the NCAA or president?
Never. President of the NCAA never coming on this
We
program.
did have Jason Wright, president of the Washington football team.
Okay, president of the United States of America.
Okay.
Commander-in-Chief.
Dwayne Johnson is possible.
What if HW ones come
I
on?
thought about that yesterday, actually, when I was watching Young Rock on Peacock.
Yeah, we all were.
There was that whole series started with him running for president.
Yeah.
Correct.
There was a time where we all just assumed Dwayne Johnson was going to be president of the United States of America. That is really sizzling. Is that all because Black Adam stunk?
Yes. Black
Nobody
Adam.
wants him to be president now?
Unfortunately, yeah. That is
killed him.
not
That's
my
true.
commander.
That's not true.
That doesn't seem right.
There is a chance.
It's great. Lot different sizzle, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not just for, like, The Rock. I will like every post he ever puts out.
Right.
We have Zoa energy drinks in that fridge over there.
Mm-hmm.
If I have the opportunity to buy the French toast that he's selling, I will buy it. I mean, I am a supporter of Dwayne The Rock Johnson, okay? The XFL, I'll never work in it again, but I did do one game of service in it. I will put on for a rating for The Rock so it does well. But there is zero convos about him potentially running for president in the future when just a few years back it was like,
He's going to win.
Dwayne's going to be our president.
2024.
President Rock is going to be awesome. And everybody was like, actually, why not the fucking Rock?
Do other people know, though? Do you think other, like, casual fans even know that he's going through this situation that I guess that the Black Adam didn't perform like they wanted?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, they buy
That's
into what
strictly
he's
coming
saying.
from here.
Yeah.
And that is
Where?
Those are facts, Tony.
Right here.
Right here.
Those are facts.
Tony, this is widely reported.
This toxic table.
I've seen the movie.
We live on the internet. Nobody else knows.
I would have never knew unless it was for you
Yeah,
guys.
but you don't watch movies.
That's fair. That's completely fair.
Yeah, people know about Black Adam. There is a chance that John Cena is the president of China, and he's
All right,
been on before.
let's get to a break. Hour 3 will be on the other side. I don't know if that's how it works in China. I don't know.
It doesn't work that way. But I bet if there was an alien country that would come in here, I bet their president would come on.
I had a lot of thoughts while I was destroying toilets yesterday.
Yeah.
Pretty good to have one of those days every once in a while. Like, didn't enjoy the way I felt, and there's going to be ripple effects to both my toilet and my butthole for the next week or so.
Absolutely.
But it's not bad to just sit in there sometimes and just have some thoughts. The aliens cruising from like planet to planet doing their thing, like we go town to town, was something I thought of yesterday about how cool that has to be and how big of losers we must be to them whenever they're just cruising by. These fucking doofuses haven't figured out how to go
They don't get it.
town to town.
Interstellar travel, you kidding me?
Yeah, where do they get their fucking clothes from? Oh, they go to Italy. Italy. Have they seen what fucking whatever Fashion Nova
Yeah.
actually is?
Where do you think the aliens go to get their clothes? Fucking Italy, okay? Why do you think they're here?
That's where you get their
And if you are, show yourselves, okay? Come on.
It's time.
This guy might
They're hiding in plain sight, don't you think?
Yeah, we'll quit it then.
Bingo.
Super Bowl, halftime. Let Rihanna do her thing and then show yourself.
Or Rihanna, shapeshift.
Hey, gonna be a good show, Rihanna.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
She's awesome. Might actually buy that $2,500 sweatshirt they sell for the performer.
Yes, I am.
Are they selling out on Good Morning Football this
What?
year? Remember they were doing that last year?
Yep.
Yeah.
$2,500?
No, it's like
No.
$250 or something like that. But they were selling him
It's
as if it was like a T-shirt.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
her hand holding a football and it has the NFL shield on
Fenny,
the back.
Doesn't she own that shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Billionaire.
So much money.
Yeah, I think she is a billionaire.
Shout out. How about Beyonce? She does that $25 million warm-up to her world tour. That's just going to make over $1 billion.
Good for Queen.
Where
Bee.
was that? Where did she perform again?
Saudi or Dubai? Dubai?
It's Dubai, I think.
Yep.
$25 million just for a warm-up.
For one performance, right?
Yeah, 2 hours, I think they said.
Go ahead.
Basically a dress rehearsal for this tour that she's going to go make $1 billion.
Just a warm-up. Yeah. Hey, do you want to take $25 million just to see, what's good, what isn't good? I guess. Where's it at? Dubai. It's a long flight.
Okay.
All right. Went through Ticketmaster again
Interesting.
because you have to go through Ticketmaster.
She did?
Yeah, kind of have a monopoly. They own like 80% of the venues.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of these places you have to sell through Ticketmaster, which is why SeatGeek has an uphill battle kind of because Live Nation, Ticketmaster own all the venues that people play in and they sell the tickets. So it's like one of those situations where government should certainly look into that. But that's going to crash again and there's going to be a full situation.
Oh, yeah. There's got to be some sort of investigation into that at some point, too.
How do they fix it though? You can't.
I don't, yeah.
Break it up.
It's tech, it's business, it's probably very powerful human beings. Why don't we look into where Ticketmaster got some money from?
Should we?
I don't know if some people want to see that because remember, some golfers should not be accepting
No way.
any money from anybody. You know what I mean? How nice would that be to come from a place where you can pick and choose where you get money from? That would be a great thing. That would have been really nice to grow up that way.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, remember, here in this family, we only take money that is from the Bible, from the good people.
Good
It's like,
money.
oh, okay. Because where I come from, it's like, if we can get money, let's go ahead and see how we can let's go ahead and see how we can get said money. What a time that was. We had to talk about that for like a week.
Oh, yeah.
Long time.
Phew.
Probably gonna be talking about it again up here soon with this Netflix series.
Jeez Louise. Hey, you want to do a giveaway here, D-Butt?
Let's do it.
Everything DB will be on the other side of this break. We'll get a chance to break down the championship weekend from a DB's perspective. And Chuck Pagano will obviously be here. We also asked Chuck, because we're in the middle of the hiring cycle for head coaches, hey, Chuck, why don't you write down some questions that you get asked in a head coaching interview? And it was a long list. I don't know where the fuck I put mine.
Here you go.
No. I think, boom, there it is. This is just like a list that Chuck put together for us to ask. And he said there's a lot more that could potentially be coming from this.
12 hours, yeah.
Some good questions.
That's a long time, bro.
Yeah, we'll just keep zooming. What is it?
That's not enough questions.
No, we'll read them off here in the next hour. We'll go through
Nice.
it. We'll take people inside a head coach's interview. We'll take people inside a DB meeting room. We got a great third hour coming up.
Here
but
we
before
go.
then, let's try to give away some money, shall we? D-Butt, what do you want to do, pal? You want to putt? You want to throw? You want to shoot? Hey, you've been doing a lot of throwing. Doing a lot of throwing. AQ Shipley sniped that net over there.
Dart.
Beat gravity. That ball was facing straight down immediately upon leaving his hand.
Yep.
Hovered across the Thunderdome court, right into the hole to win 15 people $500. If you make that ball, are you going to the net, trash can? If you make that ball in which hole? Smart.
That's what AQ did as well.
Smart. If Darius Butler makes us into the middle hole, we'll give 15 people $500 who retweet this video, say something nice to somebody, and put their cash tag in there so we can pay you officially on Cash App. Darius J. Butler, 9-year NFL vet, attempting to win 15 people $500 who retweet this video, say something nice to somebody, and put their cash tag in there so we can pay you officially on Cash App. What a what a throw. What a shot.
Dart seed.
What a show.
Boom.
Never a dot, AJ. Never a dot.
No, he almost made the first one in that right spot. I thought you didn't even have to get to the old Russell Wilson ball that we calibrated. That's impressive.
So you know what I've realized about our program through the year? Everybody's gotten better at these trick shots.
Oh, yeah.
Every day, people have gotten better.
1%.
That's what it's all about. Now, granted, we're giving away a lot more than we've ever given away. I saw the Winter Wednesday total. It was like 100 and some people won in the last week.
A lot.
$500, you start doing some math. Oh, that's 50 grand in 1 week.
Oh, yeah.
But this is a celebration. That was championship week. Now it's Pro Bowl week.
What?
It's Super Bowl week. Then we got overreaction Monday to the Super Bowl. And then we're off for a few weeks. That's going to be nice, I must say. But I got a chance to experience that life yesterday. Don't need it now. Hour 3 is on the other side of this break. Be a friend, tell a friend. Take 5. But what is it about Tom that last night everybody on earth watching was like, he's going to fucking score here. This game's over for the Saints. Sorry about it, even though there's little to no time left.
He's the clutchest performer of all time. I mean, I think that's neither here nor there. He prepares so well throughout the
More
week.
clutch than Adam Vinatieri?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think you have to put him there,
He's
right?
had so many more moments.
So many more moments, right?
Like, Vinny's
and answered every time.
Yeah, he's had, not every time. I guess that one time.
And against the Eagles in the Super Bowl. That's so hard because Vinny's answered every time.
Vinatieri's clutchness comes from his competitive juices. Like, Vinatieri is so competitive. So competitive. He does not want to lose. And I don't think people fully comprehend, like, the people up there, the Jordans, you already saw his whole last dance. The Peyton Mannings, the Wayne Gretzky's, Serena Williams's. Kobe, yes. The Mamba mentality. It's described as the Mamba mentality. What that is just being more competitive than fucking everybody else. I think it all revolves around the competitive juices. Is that what you think it is with Tom or no?
I think it's a little bit of that, but also same thing going back to Kobe, right? Like whenever if you guys saw that Redeem Team or whatever on Netflix, and they're all going out and having a good time at the club or whatever, and he's shooting shots at like 6 a.m. and they pass him coming in the night before. That is Tom. Like they are so prepared. They care so much. They want to work on every little detail that when it comes to the game, when it comes to those situations, they have no excuse because execution is the only thing that matters. They have all the answers to the test.
This is my first time in Athens, and I'm going to say this place is glorious? Absolutely beautiful. There it is. There it is. We had a little drizzle earlier, and you know where I come from. Rain makes corn. Corn makes whiskey. They make whiskey in Tennessee, so I think the rain is making the whiskey, that's being drank all over. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Give me the volunteers, Luke Bryan. Sorry about it, Uga. Tennessee, a team of destiny in Luke Bryan's face. This is the first time with this rivalry. Both teams have been good in a long time. What was your message to the team this year, and essentially an elimination game this week?
Well, hunt with a purpose. That's the biggest thing, is we want to go out and play aggressive. They're coming to our house. We had to go to their place last year, and it was wild and crazy. We wanted to be crazy today. We want them to affect the game, and our guys know our best game's ahead of us. So we're hoping it's this one.
Hell yeah, Coach. Hell yeah.
Legs crossed.
Alan Ryan Go for it. Maloney from this man's grill.
It's on his nose. It's on his nose. No, it's everywhere.
Bombing from
Oh my God. Best sandwiches going everywhere.
Last week against NC State. Oh no, Bear. Oh no. No, Bear, a graphic just came up on the screen.
I didn't know you had
0-3 last week.
I'm terrible. What's your column record? That's all they need to know.
33 and 16.
33 and 16.
And that's what I'm saying. All these
Dominating.
games early
What's
in the
that?
week that I'm
That's his
writing off,
column
I'm doing
record.
great. By the time I get to Saturday, I'm like talking myself off, picking terrible games. It's terrible. I'm doing a terrible
Get out of your
job.
own head, Bear.
I'm a good handicapper and a bad better.
Not a lot of people see the column.
That's what bothers me.
Their offense is pretty sophisticated. Here you have a classic bunch set, crack toss to the right. Pin guy, pin and pull. Running back gets out behind. Darnell Washington,
big boy.
6'7", 270. Pick up 15 to 20 yards. Remember, the tight end was lined up right behind the tackle there. Let's flip the side. Same exact formation. What are they going to do? Crack toss, pin and pull. Fake the toss, and it allows a high-low route, which Florida has to operate on, and the best tight end in the country is wide open. It's that type of stuff that they do that the anonymous coach pointed out, that it's high-level football that they've been able to do against everybody.
Attaboy, kid. Nice. Nicely done.
I got
First
a
tape.
little film.
First tape right there. First tape.
I did some football talk.
Mom, look, I did it.
The estimated hold time is now less than 96 minutes. We thank you for your patience.
Sorry, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, please hold.
Don't break the table, obviously.
I just break shit.
Sorry, man. Somebody came sprinting behind the barrier and tried to spear him.
I fucking dare somebody.
Oh no!
I dare the next fool.
Ass kicking.
What?
Saudi Arabia.
What?
Riyadh.
What?
Taking a jet plane.
What?
All the way there.
What?
All the way back.
What?
On the way back.
What?
WWE champion.
What?
How you doing?
Hell yeah!
Guys destroyed our shit.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here on Coach P's Keys and Everything DB's Thursday,
Hell yeah.
February 2nd.
Hell yeah.
Woo! Today's a huge day. Huge. Because the Bud Light Super Bowl commercial has arrived.
What?
Even more exciting, it features Philly legend Miles Teller, his wife, and even their dog Bugsy turning something hard, being on hold, into enjoyment by cracking open an easy-to-drink, easy-to-enjoy Bud Light. What?
That was their Super Bowl commercial there?
That is what
The start
this
of it has.
is saying.
Can't be the full one.
Bruce, is this accurate?
There's only 30.
Yeah, it is their Super Bowl commercial. I don't know if it's the full thing, but it's at least the.
They're gonna run that on the Super Bowl.
That's what this says, yeah.
Yeah.
Why would they run it before then?
It's probably just half of it.
That's gotta just be a piece.
Yeah,
That's gotta just be a piece.
It might just be a trailer, but I do think it is like a newer trend to release it on YouTube and ahead of the Super Bowl.
Hey, congrats to Miles and Kelly Teller.
Shout out.
It's a big deal.
Hell yeah, it is. Me and Miles and Kelly obviously started off a little rocky, but have a much better relationship after getting to know each other at Lake Tahoe. That was an awesome situation.
Was he Wim Hoffing?
He was dancing. You talking about dancing there?
No, I know. I saw the commercial. I'm talking about Tahoe. Was he Wim Hof?
I'm not sure. We didn't get to see him enough off the course, but
She almost stepped on your ball, though. That was scary.
Yeah, practice round.
Just real quick, though.
That was real round.
Really good people. I enjoyed the hell out of getting to meet them. We were not on good terms at the beginning of that whole thing, though. We figured it out. They're good people. Congrats to them getting a fucking Super Bowl commercial.
Had a baby.
140 million people are going to watch fucking Rooster do his thing out there.
That's what TC will do for you.
Love that. Good for him. Go ahead, Connor.
Make the Super Bowl beer run easier by getting it delivered with Drizzly. Use code WHADD, WHADD, for $5 off your first order of Bud Light.
Wide.
And follow Bud Light's Twitter for more legendary giveaways heading into game day. Possibly more beer money.
Wide.
Hard to be on hold. Easy to enjoy. Bud Light. Wide.
Shout out to Bud Light. How about the tellers getting a Super Bowl commercial? That's awesome.
So does that read when the read says hard to be on hold? That goes with their commercial, right? So it's all part of it.
So there's probably a lot of hard to do things.
Yeah.
So it's a theme. We got a theme going.
Turning something hard into enjoyment.
What did they say? $7 million for every 30-second ad this year.
Yep. That's right.
And
usually, I'm not going to say it, but yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to sexualize turning something hard into enjoyment.
Usually it's a good thing to turn something hard. People want to turn something hard. We have other people that do reads where you're trying to get things hard.
And remain hard longer.
And if not, you swipe it and it hopefully doesn't bust as fast.
And it is easy to enjoy, but not too much.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Okay, full circle. Here we go.
Okay, so shout out Roman and Bud Light.
Yep.
Coming together, turning something hard that becomes easy to enjoy for longer.
Hell yeah. Brand synergy.
Hell yeah, that's good for us.
Diamond in an ice storm, baby.
Boom! Boom!
Man.
Huh?
What's that, Pal?
Good for me.
Hell yeah.
Hey-oh!
Hey.
Oh, date night.
Hi-oh! Good for you, AJ. Hope you're fucking happy. We all had to think about Chuck like that, right?
Yeah, that was fun.
Hope you're happy.
It
That's
was
all.
actually. I enjoyed
Proud
it.
of him. Proud of Chuck.
We all are. Hell yeah, that's how you stay young. Look at this guy. Look how young he looks.
5% Italian.
What's this all about? Why is this guy taking 23andMe like it's
What?
like it's
23andMe is the Bible. What are we talking about here?
I mean, it's unbelievable. All right, let's dive into everything DB, ladies and gentlemen. There was obviously some good, some bad, some fantastic, and to break it all down from a DB perspective, and not a douchebag, no, a defensive back perspective, it is Darius J. Butler.
Yes, sir. Let's get to it. Most of these plays will be from the AFC Championship since. What's that?
In the Trenches was all from the
NFC.
NFC Championship.
Well, nice. So obviously the other game, NFC Championship, Brock Purdy been knocked out, Josh Johnson been knocked out. They didn't never have a fucking chance. Eagles got their ears peeled back to stop the run. No chance. So we're gonna get to the AFC Championship. Now in this game, a lot of rookies had to show up right on defense in this back end. So you got obviously a vet out here with Justin Reed, but we got rookie. So we got a lot of rookies out here, and that's AFC Championship game against this offense. Obviously, the offensive line was banged up, so these guys up front got to take over. The second quarter.
Are these the same guys playing in the Super Bowl?
It depends. We won't know it. They got an extra week, so Snead got knocked out, I believe, like the first drive.
McDuffie definitely will be.
Yeah, so McDuffie will be playing, but Snead, hopefully he'll be back. I think it was concussion, so 2 weeks, I would expect him to play.
Well, sometimes.
And remember that one corner that Chuck highlighted on Thursday who got the pick against the Chargers?
35.
Those
Rook-ass Rook.
Those two will be playing for sure.
Jalen Watson. So that's him right there. We can pause it. So right now we got man coverage across the board, and for some reason, I don't know if it's because he came on this show, but they're doubling. They're showing him a lot of love right here, Trent Irwin. And then down bottom, obviously, Jamar Chase is going to get a lot of attention with the safety over the top down here. So that leaves a one-on-one. Somebody's got to wear the hat, as Chuck would say. And that's Jalen Watson, 35, been balling ever since he's been on Coach P's keys. This is a slot fade. This is a route we've been seeing all year long. And the reason why it's so tough is because you put a good receiver in this slot, and you got a ton of space. Usually it's a post safety in here, but it's zero safety help. So it's pretty much cover zero right now for this rookie corner on T. Higgins, who a lot of people see as a wide receiver 1B. Run it back to the beginning, please, Pat. Now, usually why it's so tough is this receiver takes an outside release and you throw that fade ball, but he's actually outside leverage. and forces T. Higgins to go inside where he wants him to go, completely throws off this timing, and then the best part is the finish. You know, DB, you can do everything right, but you got to finish. And Jalen Watson high points this ball. So right now, T. Higgins isn't even ready for this ball. He got his eyes back before the receiver. Burrow's under a little pressure from Dunlap, I believe. High point.
All night.
That's a big-time play. And that's on 3rd and down. So that's money down, 3rd and 2. They go to the slot fade because Burrow has one-on-one coverage. And usually T. Higgins wins those, but the rookie wins that one. Second one. We can see it from the back copy, so you'll see the pressure.
Why do they double Irwin? Strictly because of film, or
maybe because he was at the 3 position. Yeah. It's 3rd and 2, you know, so it's a slide.
Guy.
Yeah, you don't want to give up that quick, you know, pressure. And when you got all those rookie DBs back there playing, I mean, it's huge for you to be able to get home with just the front 4, and that's where Kansas City did. Chris Jones pretty much dominated this game from wire to wire, and when you can get home with 4 and keep guys back and help those other DBs out, that's a big deal. Frank Clark, or is this a Chris Jones sack right here? No, sorry. Josh Williams, rookie corner down here. So we got split safety coverage. It looks like he almost wants to come off and play this flat, so I'm not sure if it was a cover 2 or quarters down here. He plays it like quarters. He plays it like cover 2 at the beginning. But this is a great job by another rookie at safety right here. And he's going to be talking about tips and overthrows all the time. So you'll see this flat kind of takes his eyes. Maybe he's just seeing too much because this guy's run with the flat and there's no hesitation. Another money down. This is 3rd and 3. So he's going with that flat. Once again, another reason why I think it was quarters down here. But he's going with the flat, so he should be high shoulder. He should stay high, right? And this safety should be able to drive everything underneath of that receiver. So post, dig, curl. Those are his routes. And then he should be top shoulder. But right now, safety sees he's in trouble. He sees the corner's in trouble, so he goes and drives top shoulder, gets his head around. So right now, gets his head around. Once again, you're throwing to T. Higgins, gets his head around and makes the play on the ball, tips it up. Joshua Williams running his ass off. He catches the tip.
Oh.
So, I mean, that's perfect. You always talk about DBs panicking, not getting their head around.
He saved that corner.
Oh, yeah, big time.
That was always the scariest thing when we doubled, right, getting split. And you had to define, okay, who's on top and who's underneath.
Yep.
So this corner knows he got cooked here?
So this is my, if you run it back to the beginning, I think this is quarter. So this looks like half up here. So you got quarter, so quarter, half. So I think this is half up top, quarters down bottom. But sometimes as a corner, once again, it's a rookie, especially when you're in the press. If you're in quarters, that's pretty much like man with inside help. That flat route shouldn't influence you at all, even if it is 3rd.
He should be dropping here?
He should just be, I'm all him. But he goes kind of sluggo, right? So if you run it back to the beginning, just let the route play. T. Higgins' route's kind of like a slant and go. So, I mean, it's just an incredible job from this safety to get his foot. It's almost like a combine drill if you watch just his footwork. He comes back, he breaks on the initial route, gets back, literally a combine drill. You do it, come down, come back up, and then get back and turn your head around. He turns his head around, locates his ball, and then Josh Williams does.
Probably, to your point, it's probably stuff, right? Stuff number 1?
Yep. Where's Chase? Chase up top. Yep.
So he carries the cloud corner, right, and stuff, and that's quarters away.
Yep. So you're clouding that corner, you're clouding Jamar Chase. This whole game, they had 4 eyes on Chase. That's the respect he demanded. Same thing on the flip side with Kelsey when they were on offense.
He's about to jump this slant, huh?
Yep. So he's ready to drive that slant so he does a great job driving it, recognizing the slant and go, and then getting back, and then most importantly, getting his head around.
Oh shit!
And what was this, like yards. Second to last drive too, or last drive for
this was this is 4th quarter, 7 something left.
Second to last drive, I think.
Yep.
Drop 8 too, huh? They had a guy come out of the rush 3, and had a rat in there to take away the little spot route.
Yeah, 3rd and 3. So you take away the low balls, poof, high point there. That's beautiful, beautiful. So back-to-back rookies making big plays. This next play from the first quarter, it's the Frank Clark sack. Frank Clark showed up as well. He kind of shows up in these playoffs every year, and he talks shit. I love his promos after the game. They're the best. Once again, all these rookies, great coverage on the back end to allow these guys up front. Just watch this Joshua Williams, rookie. Just watch the communication and like the just the patience, overall awareness of these guys. They're going to pass these routes, let them go that way, and then absorb the other ones coming back at them. So it's like that's when you got young guys out there doing that type of shit, that lets you know that they're being coached well. So shout out.
I was about to say, who's the coach?
Spags.
Yeah, so them having
three-time champ.
He's a DB coach too.
He's a long-time defensive back coach, long-time D coordinator, Paisan.
Yep.
Super Paisan.
Beat Brady twice in the Super Bowl.
He was head coach of the Rams, St. Louis Rams.
Yeah.
Might be 5%.
And Spags defense, it takes them a while to learn it too, or
that would be a better question.
You know, so every year about week 13, 14, they always talk about them coming into their own, and they just hit their stride in the playoffs, and then they're unbelievable.
Another money down too. So this is 3rd and 10. If you just see this, if you run it back one more time from the wide, like you got all these routes coming across the middle of the field, and then all these defensive bodies. Because quarterbacks, a lot of times, they don't know the ins and outs and the particulars of every coverage, but it's about throwing windows for them. It's about seeing color, the depth of underneath droppers. And everybody's in great position. Ryan is probably the only guy that's kind of open, but that's not where Burrow's looking on 3rd and 10. And by the time he can get back to him, the pocket's collapsing. His O-line got whooped. They did their thing the week before against Buffalo in the run game. But KC opened up a whole can of whoop ass on them.
And Bolton is only his 2nd year too, right? So is this like the youngest defense in the league, or?
If they got their guys healthy, who's the other starter? We got Thornhill.
In the back end?
Justin Reed.
I'm trying to think of the other corner. Yeah,
Where's
so those
Lenore?
are vets.
How about Lenore? Isn't that the other?
No, Lenore's out there in
San Fran.
Yeah, San Fran.
Oh, yeah.
So right now, at this point in time, typically you don't want rookies playing these type of big games, but they're out there. And then at this point, you got coaches in there saying, it's shit, players too. Hey, you're not a rookie anymore. It's week 25, but the rookie in their mind, I mean, it's a long year. So this week off would be good for them. And it's going to be a big, big game.
How about that, AJ? These young bucks stepping up.
I'm curious to see how many of them are going to be playing in the Super Bowl, because D-Butt's right. You can watch them like they're anticipating what the route concepts are, and you can see them pointing and yelling like at the snap when everything starts to happen. It's pretty good.
In the middle of the play. Both full arm extension points.
Yeah.
So when the coaches are watching the film, you can't be like, "Oh no, yeah, I called it. I called the under. I told him." You know, like, no, we need confirmation.
Verbal and nonverbal. That's Brian Cook down there, the other rookie safety. So and you'll see it again on this play. Great job getting home up front. This play, Brian Cook. Let's get up there in the big spot. Hey, alert, alert, alert. Get everybody on the same page. Believe this is two-man coverage across.
That's rookie there, huh?
Yeah, these rookies.
It's wild.
It's two-man coverage. And Trent McDuffie, man, like first rounder. So obviously you're your first-round guy going to a good team, high expectations. But to come in as a rookie and be able to play the slot like he has. Snead has been their slot defender. He's been able to go outside and inside more. But McDuffie had an unbelievable game.
Cook was their 2nd-round pick out of Cincinnati from Cincinnati.
Ohio fuck.
Hometown kid.
Wow.
Run it back a little bit, Pat. So this was I saw this earlier in the week. I'm not sure where, but this is, I think, the secret formation that they've been holding since the AFC Championship. We got Chris Jones. It's another top secret formation.
Why does he do all that?
So Chris, I don't know what you're talking about, but Chris Jones.
You know what I'm talking
Carlos
about?
Dunlap.
It's your guy.
It was where we
What are you
saw.
talking about?
Why does that happen? What's going on?
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right.
But
That's what he was
There's
told.
a lot of O linemen who were.
D-Bud, just be honest.
well, that was actually wide. The one you're talking about is the wide techniques when Chris Jones is a D tackle. This is a top secret. I don't think this was disclosed yet. So this might be everything DB.
That guy ran
debut.
your campus, by the way.
We got Chris Jones
Your locker room.
and Carlos Dunlap down bottom. Chris Jones outside. Once again, this starts, in my opinion, with the coverage, and then Chris Jones obviously just whooping ass up front. But everybody's locked in, tied in, just two-man coverage. But everybody's when Burrow gets to the top of his drop, like, who's open? You stop this ball. Like, boom, right there. Like,
damn.
Sticky. We're sticky. And this is, what point is this in the game?
Chase.
This is 44 seconds left in the game. I believe the game was 20-20 at this point. So,
Oh, is this the
this
one
was
that
part
they
of the script.
They said was roughing the passer?
Yeah, but this was before, Mahomes got to do his thing, get pushed out of bounds late, all that shit. 20-20. 44 seconds on the clock. Chris Jones, you see him waving, it's
Pretty
over
cool.
with.
Burrow just took that sack because the script had it written down. Like
it's nice
that.
of him.
Bro.
Stand-up guy.
That's a real thing. People are
Legitimately, wholeheartedly believe it. Like, the birds aren't real things, sure. But, like, they actually...
Speaking of, these crows are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
They're really helping me come
They
back
eating the
around.
donuts?
Yeah, they eat everything, dude.
Donuts, peanuts.
They're getting a lot of
almonds.
Yep.
And it turns out if you don't have them out there ready for them, they will bonk their faces off this glass and off the glass upstairs if there isn't any more left.
That's right.
They've been pecking.
It's getting cold outside. We know that you got it now.
Yeah.
It hasn't really gone the exact same way I thought. I thought they'd be a little bit more understanding and patient with us if we reach out the olive branch to the Crows. Instead, it's been like, oh, now we know that you know that this is how this goes. So now we're going to need this when we need it, pal.
Might need to remind them that beggars can't be choosers.
Well, they're showing up.
What are you going to do with that?
Well, maybe we fucking break one of those crows' necks and toss it out there. It's like, hey, you know what? We don't want it to go like this.
We also caused a massive.
But it could.
war.
There's
that's the problem. Is that it told
The
the other
squirrels
crows.
are getting mad.
I got the crows over the squirrels 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
With what I've learned from the crows.
Squirrels know they got to pay a little bit to be around on this property.
The crows think we're lucky to be here,
right?
Which we are for sure. The amount of shit we've learned, they might be the most fascinating bird in the sky. These crows,
They're up there.
they're brilliant.
Well, let's have a fucking bald eagle show up and see how the crows
Absolutely.
I don't know if the bald eagle could put together a little fucking Rubik's cube like these goddamn crows can.
Yeah, it could pick up an antelope off the side of a mountain.
I understand that, but will it hold a grudge against the antelope if it doesn't taste as good as the other fucking animals? I don't know. That's what crows do.
Yeah, that's true.
They're
You
more
raise a good
spiteful.
point.
Crows hold grudges.
I'm starting to hate these crows. They're asking for fucking 10% every
tells
morning
you
at
that?
the window, and
Who
that's
let
not
you
how
know?
we are.
The internet did. And then you
They're
saw the
big.
video of that thing putting together
Yeah,
the
they're big.
goddamn the puzzle. The
blocks.
Impressive.
I did not see that one, but if you any animal, if you put donuts out there every day, I would assume they're going to come back, just like the otters and the skunks and all of the other stuff you had at your old house.
Do not call the crows otters or skunks. These things are a complete different league
Otters,
of intelligence.
though, otters very intelligent as well.
Yeah, they
I would love an otter actually. If we showed up here at the Thunderdome property and a fucking otter was in the back,
that'd be awesome.
We'd all be very excited.
They
about
use
it.
rocks to open up clams and oysters.
Yeah, they clean themselves.
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
They do the whole thing.
Speaking of animals, we still using the groundhog? Is that like that's? I've seen that everywhere.
This fucking rat, okay? I can't take it anymore. I'm from Pennsylvania, okay? So I guess we bear a little bit of the burden of this fucking rat becoming something.
Yep.
But it's nowhere near where we're from, okay? Punxsutawney's nowhere near where we're from. It's a hell of a party from what I heard in the morning.
Sure.
With how good of a party it is, it's a surprise that this fucking rat even comes out of its hole to begin with. But yet again, this piece of shit garment comes out of the goddamn ground and tells the world, and this time in a poem, wrote bars, had enough time to fucking write a full anecdote as if he was a pop star, which people have made him. He says 6 more weeks of winter. Hey, we don't need that shit. Okay, Phil? Why don't you just do your job one time and bear good news? Okay, instead of bad news.
Yeah, I mean, my qualms with the weirdo with the beard and the top hat.
I think
That's who I think is at fault.
I agree. That is the bigger issue. It's
That's
these
Zach
assholes
Brown.
dressing up
That's
like
Zach
this.
Brown
That's
holding.
not Zach.
That's not Zach Brown, but he is trying to look like Zach Brown. So people.
Hey, how many sedatives is that thing on? I bet because groundhogs are nasty, man. They almost killed my dog growing up. Like those things will bite your face.
Oh, yeah. And they'll grow big, too. There was a big-ass groundhog in the
That
backyard
thing
of the
doesn't
house.
even know where it's at. That thing's basically a corpse right now.
Well, they should make it a real corpse so
Did
that
she get
we
a
don't have
script?
to listen
Did she
to
get a
it.
script?
Who, the
Rat?
The rat does get a script. That's what we're saying. This is all fugazi, I think.
It's got to be.
What's Pennsylvania doing?
We created euchre.
What are you talking about, dude?
Absolutely. We should have a euchre game to decide whether there's 6
Listen, why don't
more
you go,
weeks of
why don't
winter.
you
or
go
not.
one time before you. Okay.
I'm from there, damn it.
What
I've
part
heard
of
the party.
What part of the state
I
is
told you that's
Punxsutawney?
Zach Brown.
I think it's
That
east
is.
of us. I believe it's east of Pittsburgh.
It's not that. It's a little bit farther east of Indiana, IUP.
Yeah, it's a little over there. a little
Western Central.
bit. Yeah.
You don't know, Connor.
Yes, I do. I know. It's a little by. It's IUP.
I'm a little bummed, though, that this
It's an hour
rat.
and a half from Pittsburgh,
Boom.
Which way? This way?
northeast.
Yep.
Ain't nothing good come from that area.
It's in between Katanning and DuBois.
All right, good things come from Katanning and DuBois. But this fucking rat is a piece of shit, and we need to end it. I'm
him
tired
right
of
back.
it. Okay? Staten Island rat, who lives in a dumpster fire.
Staten Island Chuck, hell yeah.
There it is. Came out
Did you
and
see what
said,
happened to the Canadian?
yeah, they killed it.
Yeah.
Wait, why?
The Canadian groundhog was going to pull this shit again? Was going to pull this whole winter 6 more
They
weeks?
shot
I don't think so, buddy. Snap his neck.
They pulled it out and it was dead.
And they did.
They were like, well, we don't know if it saw a shadow or what. It seems to be sleeping still.
May have been too many booster shots as well in Canada.
Jeez. Now we got a COVID thing at the bottom of this video forever.
Yep.
Hope you're happy, Nick. Hope you're happy. We're talking about a groundhog, obviously.
Drank one too many Molson Triple X's, I heard.
Well, I'd be drunk too if I'm going to tell the world that their life sucks for the next 6 weeks again. I mean, it'd be tough to sleep at night, but the groundhog's been able to do it, and these people have been able to profit off it for all these years.
Bullshit.
I just want everybody to know that I am sick of this rat, and I'm tired of it. Remember COVID year?
Oh yeah.
This is when I had enough.
Mm-hmm.
The world had been through enough. Everybody's locked down, blah, blah, blah. We need some sense of good news.
Yep.
Just some good news needs to come. This piece of shit comes out of the hole and goes, I got bad news for you.
Yep.
It's like, we don't need it, you fake fucking thing. All right?
Kill 'em.
If we needed to hear when winter's coming, we would have dug up DiNardo.
Yep.
And we would have fucking had him tell us, okay?
Bingo.
We don't need this groundhog to bring bad news when the world already has enough bad news. So I think that's when I was out on the groundhog. I have heard it's a great party, though. Like,
Oh, I can
people
imagine.
rip it.
people have a great, great time. This is the Canadian one. It's Fred. Fred's dead.
They pulled him out and he was dead?
Yeah, well, I don't know if they pulled him out or if they killed him and just dropped him back in there.
Rest in peace, Fred.
Pulled him out. He had a bullet in his head.
Miss you, Fred.
What's that, Chuck?
Looked asleep.
Fred?
Yeah.
He was. The eternal sleep.
A nice tooth.
In hell.
Oh yeah, you're right.
He does have a nice tooth.
It's on someone's necklace now.
All those little vermints are, they're all an interesting little thing.
Yeah.
Like
rodents?
Raccoons, rodent, there it is.
Yeah.
Raccoon.
They're vital.
What do they do?
Eat bugs.
We need them. I don't know. We need everything.
They control
Like,
the
I'm about
grub
to put up-
population, Pat.
Yeah.
They're
I'll put up a
decimal.
couple bat houses. I want to get some bats out here so I get all the
Bats.
mosquitoes out of here. in
Bingo.
summer.
We have bats around the house. We have a couple of bat houses around the house because the mosquitoes over on the lake get so bad. Wait till you see those fuckers fly. They'll buzz you. They'll give you a little, hey, we're here flight.
Bats are awesome.
They are.
We got a ton at our house in the summer.
How about that one? Where's that one in Thailand or something? It was like 7
the
foot
upside
tall.
down. Yeah. The upside
Oh, the
down.
one that's like foxy.
The wolf bat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
there
wolf.
it is.
That thing.
I don't know if that's
sweet.
the exact name, but
How do we get those in America? We need that.
I think we bring
Keep
those
them
over
there.
to America and feed them a couple shotgun shells. We don't need those things fucking moving around.
I'm done with mosquitoes.
Yeah, those things aren't eating mosquitoes; they're eating human beings.
mosquitoes are the number
Really?
one killer
Oh,
in the
yeah.
entire world. Okay, we need those bats.
Yeah, I thought these things eat all the mosquitoes. Look at that big nose.
Oh,
They just sniff them
That's
out.
a baby one.
Is that a moose?
Wait till you see a full grown
It's
one.
the moose
Look at his
jaw
face.
bat.
There should be, if we could find a full grown one that's hanging, obviously.
Yeah.
It's like 6 foot, 7 foot tall.
Next level.
That thing's an alien.
That is not it.
It's bigger. I mean, kind of looks like that.
That is not what it is. It looks like the human on the left.
Yeah,
He just saw one.
How about him taking advantage of the moment too and cutting a full poem promo?
classic.
This guy's the
With
star of the show.
Fucking Madonna mic on.
So they're pumped every time they do this. People cheered, by the way. I heard people cheering. It's like they don't even know what he's saying.
Yeah.
They're just drunk.
They're just
and
happy
people
to
are
see
talking.
Phil.
Anyways, we're done with this rat.
Yep.
I don't have to make it a yearly thing of me burying a fucking groundhog, but I will.
Boom.
Boom.
What
Chuck.
the fuck?
Feed
That's
punks
real.
on
That's a real thing.
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, if you see that, what do you do? Just take a baseball bat and just go to town?
precisely.
Start running like
Stake
hell.
through the
You're
heart.
gonna need to snap that bat in half and you stake through the heart.
You
Snap
seen
your own
Last of
neck.
Us? You watched Last of Us at all?
No, I have not yet, but I will.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go. Back to it. Dunlap and Chris Jones switch
Is that
positions.
Tatanka? I just noticed that. Is that Tatanka?
Tatanka?
Yeah.
No, that's
his
Cuzzo the Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace. That thing used to run the plains.
It did.
That's right.
You remember Dances with Wolves, right? Tatanka.
Of course.
The WWE superstar.
Yeah, Daniel
I had a dream
Day-Lewis.
the other night that fell on my head and fucking crushed me and I died.
That'd be nuts.
Seems normal.
You guys just went on with the show.
The show must go
we
on.
would
That's what
have
you
to.
want us to
Move
do.
the ball 10 yards.
Yeah, we would have to.
Riverside.
Oh, that's amazing. All right, let's move along. Sorry about it.
Sorry. T's and P's, Toby.
Peas and beasts.
All right, so this is the play that essentially ended the game for the end of the NFC Championship for the 49ers. So you 5-man set. So we had a play last week. Should we go to that? Let's go to the next play first.
Oh.
That we did last week from the divisional game. That
Which play?
oh shit, is it on there? The Giants.
Oh, I don't know if we have that.
We'll have all right. Fuck it, we can go
Makes
back.
a lot of punks, I'm telling you.
So it was that play. I don't know if you guys remember. It was the one you said he should have thrown to Saquon to the
Oh,
flat.
yeah,
When
yeah.
Josh Sweat dropped
Sure.
out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys down up top, and then that play in the divisional round, Sweat dropped out, Reddick dropped out, and then Chauncey Gardner blitzed up the middle, got home. This time, all 5 rush. You keep single high, 3 underneath, 3 deep coverage. I don't know. I hope they didn't just think that this tight end will be able to hold up against Hassan Reddick, guy who should be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. Maybe they thought this Debo Samuel orbit motion would kind of hold him as well, but he dominates the matchup as you would expect, gets home, gets to Brock Purdy's elbow, and like I said, this essentially ended this game for the
Were they
49ers.
targeting the arm in a despicable fashion with Darius J. Butler?
You're going for the ball. We play with Sandman, the best in the history to do it. When you go, like they literally coach it now. Like you don't even go for the body. When we play Big Ben, hey, tackle his right arm. Like tackle his right. Don't even try to tackle that 300 down quarterback. Tackle his right arm. So this is where Reddick going. The closing speed, him to be able to
Look
beat
at his burst.
Yeah,
right
like,
there. I was gonna hit you. Sorry, D. But
Go ahead,
as
Jay.
he gets off that block, that from there to there, like that's not real. Like
Yeah.
how fast he closed on the quarterback.
Oh, and he dips too.
Yeah.
Flew past
So
Fletcher
good.
Cox, who
So
was also
with
good.
this 5 down front, if you run it back, it's 5 down front. You end up, even with the 2 tight ends, this wide wing down here, Kittle releases, but everybody ends up with one-on-ones except Linval Joseph. He gets the double team. So you got Fletcher Cox one-on-one. You got Hargrave, I believe, one-on-one. Sweat's one-on-one. And Reddick's one-on-one with a tight end. And you got the big space eater taking up two offensive linemen in the middle of the field. So, I mean, design, great job by the Philadelphia Eagles, and also a horrible job by the 49ers.
Oh, Ayuk might score there, too.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I say it all the time. This is the best pass coverage in the world right here. Because Ayuk, unbelievable route by Bradbury. And these corners, they're not going to get beat a ton, but when they do get beat, you got to take advantage of them from the offensive standpoint.
Oh, shit. Man. That changes the game a bit.
Yeah.
How many times does Kyle Shanahan watch this play?
And always, another coach would point too, always recover the ball. Always, because on the field, this was called an incomplete pass. They went back, reviewed it. It was called a fumble, and it went to the Eagles because you saw him beat this double team and get to the ball, big fella.
Did you see Jimmy Ward, the Niners cornerback captain, said that he didn't want to play nickel anymore, and Shanahan asked him if he wants to ride the bench?
Yeah, I mean, those are unfortunately the kind of real conversations you have. You know what I mean? He went and told, hey, Coach Shanahan, I want to talk to you. Went to his office. Hey, Coach, not interested in playing nickel anymore. And he was a safety, so that was his spot. But he got hurt. Gibson, Hufanga, obviously had an all-pro year. Those guys, you're playing well. Coaches don't like if you're not supposed to technically lose your job to injury, but if shit's going good, they went on they had the number 1 defense in the league.
Yeah.
So, you know. When you
I've
come
never
back,
heard that from somebody of importance.
As far as what?
The injury thing?
Yeah, always hear it from pundits and fans and stuff like that.
I heard
It's not reality.
A quarterback say that.
I feel like
Jameis Winston said it this year.
Jameis did say it, but it also
Not
seems
real.
like we see it 15 to 20 times every single
yeah.
year. A guy absolutely loses his spot to injury
Yeah.
because
You hear
the guy
fucking-
coming in balls out.
You hear fucking
Brady.
Wally Pipp.
Same thing was happening in Washington with the Commanders. Heineke comes in and they're playing for that kid. They rally around that kid.
Yeah.
And you know Carson's healthy. They just didn't want to go back to him. Just
Can't
because of
join the
momentum.
club
In the tub.
in the tub.
And then they decided to in the most important game of the season. He played like shit, and they didn't make the
But that,
playoffs.
to be fair, Ron Rivera didn't know they could be eliminated.
True.
So
Or own.
we can be eliminated.
Hey, we got 4th and 1 right here.
Still
And
the
this
head
is
coach.
Mahomes. I mean, just obviously an unbelievable performance. But you got Travis Kelce always on the same page. He ends up running a 7 route, right? So he's the deep 7. Everybody else is kind of in good position. Mahomes moves the pocket. Kelce sees that Jesse Bates in great outside leverage, just kind of pivots away from him. Mahomes puts the ball on him. 4th and 1, you're going for it. You move the pocket. This is the play you call. And Mahomes to Kelce. I mean, it's inevitable at this point. So you pause it right here. If you run it back a little bit, this is where the Mahomes magic comes in at. Because if you pause it, like, everybody's in great position. Now, this could be obviously a bang maniac. Get your ass up there, young boy. But they're in a good spot. He's in a good spot with him running that route. But he just pivots and pushes away from him. and this is how they scored most of their touchdowns. Them just going and playing backyard football.
Off script?
Him pivoting. I mean, the end of that play. The end of that play is kind of off script.
Okay.
I was watching that live, and I was surprised he didn't throw it to Juju in the flat immediately. But then I think he just saw Jesse Bates' back and knew Kelsey was going to turn around at some point.
He had that time, right? He had the time up front, and they built kind of like, if you run it back to the beginning, they kind of built that sprint out formation. A lot of times, typically pre-snap, you can kind of get something gives you a tell. If you see a tight end in the C area with a back away, sometimes they'll switch it and do it opposite. They just put a tight end backside and just had him kind of run away and cut that backside rusher off. So Mahomes had time here, didn't feel pressured. I don't even think he even looked at
I know.
he didn't, literally didn't even look at
Well, doesn't
Juju.
have many catches.
What's Von Bell confused about at the beginning of this play?
I think it was a little late motion if you run it back.
Oh, okay.
So just trying to get on the same page. And Andy Reid, a lot of offenses now, Andy Reid is always threatening your edges on the gotta have it type plays. So you see the communication.
Sprint right option, right?
Yeah. Got to be ready.
Sprint right
this
option.
This is what this is
Remember
right
with
here. Yeah.
Andy, you can count on two things, all right? In these critical situations like D-But's talking about is sprint right option. They build trips to our left, trips formation, and you've got the overhang like Darius was talking about to pin the edge. It's going to be sprint out, flat 7, and then they just adjust from there. And the other thing is in the low red, shovel pass.
Yeah.
They build something where you got to offset back to quarterback's left side, defense's right. Look for the shovel pass.
Yeah. So that play is drawn up, obviously, for Kelsey to run to that pylon. But Mahomes sees where Bates is, Kelsey sees where Bates is, and he just runs away from Bates. Now, this is the MVS touchdown. Cover 1 down here. And now cover 1, these post safeties, this is where you take chances, right? Because you want to be that bonus player. You're not necessarily worried on the 20-yard line, 19-yard line of guys running past you. So Sky Moore runs, this is 3rd and 10, I believe. Sky Moore runs the crossing route. Yep, crossing route. Jesse Bates vacates that middle of the field under pressure. Mahomes, as he's making this move, he sees that middle of the field vacated. Obviously knows where MVS is. MVS throws his hands up. He steps up, gets hit. Laser.
Wow.
Laser.
You remember when we did this, D-Butts, what we would tell you as a nickel to do once the free safety took that guy?
To become that free safety. So what Chuck is talking about right here is if it's talked about pre-snap, run it back a little bit, please, Pat. If it's talked about pre-snap, and this is kind of on that, this is high red, right? So low red will definitely, if this is on the 10-yard line, we're definitely doing this. But this is high red area, 20-yard line. So he runs that crosser. So if I know my free safety is taking that, now I have to become that free safety. So I would drop that and let that go. But that's tough to do from the press. If I'm that guy and he goes, it's much easier. But if I'm in the press, that's tough. Because right now I have to bounce off and basically go vertical and get my eyes back to Mahomes.
I was thinking maybe just he sloughs off and get in that window. At least give, what a throwing catch.
Yeah, because this is a laser. You're avoiding the pressure late. Mike Hilton, he had a hell of a game against Buffalo, creating havoc in that backfield. But they kind of exposed him on the edge outside this week with MVS. MVS had a few big plays on him.
Yeah.
Led the game in receiving.
Any worry about the Chiefs if Hardman, Juju, and Tony don't go?
I mean, yeah. Obviously, Mahomes is so special. You can never count him out, especially with Kelsey, because everybody, you got top 3 receivers out. Like Kelsey is the number 1 receiver. Even when Tyreek Hill was there, he was obviously the big play guy. He controlled that middle of field safety, but Kelsey was getting the targets every year in and year out. One of the best pass catchers. When you go 12 personnel, it's really 11 personnel because he's another receiver on it. Same with 13. That's 12 personnel. So I'm not worried about it.
Well,
Kelsey's out there, Mahomes out there, and then MVS.
I was going to say MVS, he never had to do that in Green
yeah.
Bay, obviously, but that was kind of his coming out part. Like, he has special speed, and they really haven't used him like that much all year.
Yeah.
So
Well, maybe McKinnon plays a bigger role, right? With those guys around.
McKinnon, yeah. I thought Sky Moore would have a bigger year this
bigger
year.
season.
Surprise, yeah. But somebody
he's shown up in
Mahomes.
spots, right?
They give him some jet sweeps too every game.
Yeah. And Chiefs offensive line this year, they played their ass off, especially in these playoffs. So we shall see. And then this last play, AQ went over it yesterday, but this is just an unbelievable run. I mean, he was dead to rights in the hole, so you got an edge, you got an inside guy. You got him shooting the gap. This dude jumps over him, lands on jukes Slay, and then breaks. Like this is just I mean,
Freak.
Yeah, this it makes it more ridiculous from this back copy, but I just had to throw this one on there.
A little bit of respect here for McCaffrey.
Yeah,
Free agent.
So this
Up and over.
hey, good run it back real quick though. So this is a great job. I mean, clinic by this safety. He just felt it, triggered, because this wide receiver is supposed to crack block Epps. Beats the crack block. I would say stay on your feet, make the tackle. Much easier saying that standing here with this stick in my hand than out there with a Rydell on. But I mean, C-Mac, this is a special play from a special play. Oh.
Do you think McCaffrey has to like write a handwritten letter to Goodell thanking him for putting this in the script?
Yeah, you got to, got to show him love. At least let him get one touchdown, while they're getting their ass whooped. And this is a keep. No threat of a play action or anything. You know you're handing this ball off. Let me get downhill. But I mean, this is just an unbelievable individual play from C-Mac, man. You think we sign him, Indy?
No. He wants to go back to
him
the
and JT
championship game.
All right.
Two-headed monster. Do you think if Josh Johnson stays healthy, they have any chance of winning that game?
No, I don't.
You think if Purdy stays healthy?
Yeah, hell yeah. I think if Purdy stay healthy, it's a game. I still had the Eagles winning and covering, but I think it would have been a much better game.
Which way you leaning for the Super Bowl?
Oh, leaning. Right now, everything points to the Eagles. Eagles right now.
All right. AQ feels the same way. AQ feels the same way. A lot can change over next week and a half, especially with us being there. Ladies and gentlemen, another episode of Everything DB. Can't thank you enough, DB, for all season, making us smarter and better. That was an incredible. Chuck listed a bunch of these questions, and I want to kind of run through them real quick. This is what people are Chuck, that was all, or D-Butt, that was awesome.
Hell yeah.
Thank you all season for that. Honestly, thank you all season. It's been
you want to Chuck?
Cool outfit too.
No, you're good, Debo. We got to get him his desk. Somebody who's not on camera. Not yet?
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Mike, check. Mike.
You see D-Butt's cool sweatshirt too?
Yeah.
He just.
Did you see his pants? They look like tuxedo pants.
Yeah, I don't understand.
They're sweats, but they're tuxes.
Eastside Golf.
Oh. What is Eastside Golf?
Yeah, you're acting like that's known.
Black-owned golf. Happy Black History Month, by the way. Second day of Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month. Happy Black History Month.
Eastside Golf. Sorry about that.
What is that? That's Black-owned golf?
Black-owned golf brand. They make some dope stuff. They did the collab with Jordan as well. So they got some dope on their logo. Pretty dope logo. It's on my wrist.
Sorry, I did not mean to make this a whole.
No, you're good. But if you can, where's the camera? Here.
Oh.
Got the chain on, so just, making golf a little more hip.
Great form, too. That left arm.
Yeah.
Completely locked out there, coming out of the pocket. You're a golfer, right?
Absolutely not. But Gertie's getting me in the lab, man. All right.
Gertie's been working up there.
He's been working, so I don't know how good he is, but
He's going to Q school.
Feel better.
he was working, so I got to work with him.
What's that?
Feel better.
Yeah, Gertie caught what I had there. He came in this morning, immediately sent him home. Immediately sent him. I gave him a fist bump. I'm like, Gertie, good to see you, man. I missed you. He's like, oh. It's like, all right. Are you doing that because of me or because of you? I feel a little. All right. The fuck out of here. I need you to battle it, get through it. We got to get to the Super Bowl next week. Should be fantastic. D-Butt, great work.
Appreciate it.
Can't wait to learn a little bit more about Eastside Golf. That's a great logo.
Yes, sir.
Super cool. Maybe you'll get good at golf, too. I doubt it. It's a tough game.
It is.
It's a very tough game.
Without putting the time in here, for sure.
Yeah, you got to get reps in.
Play PGA, it might help.
But PGA has helped, I think. AJ, you're $20 million in trouble with me playing PGA.
Ooh.
I wasn't worried, and then when I saw that you were doing that on the gaming console, it did make me worry a little.
Smart.
I think it's made me a better putter.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like learning where to aim.
Reading greens, yeah.
It'll feel exactly like that whenever you get out there and you're playing a competitive real golf round.
It can't be any worse than it was last year at Tahoe. Honestly, the putting cannot be. I stood over every putt thinking.
Golf, it can always be worse, unfortunately.
I don't think it could. You remember I rolled that one.
You played well. You played great. You made a bunch of birdie putts.
I rolled a putt into the sand trap. Okay, think about that. I rolled a putt from the green into the sand. Can't get worse.
I've putted into the water. I've putted into the water before. It's that fast.
That's what I'm saying, though. Over every single putt, I thought to myself, well, there's no chance this is going in. Can't have that be the thought every single time I putt. So it has to get better is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Birdie on 17 on Saturday.
Hell yeah.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
And if they had little captions on what was going through my head as I was putting that, I think people would have been very surprised that that ball fell. So I was pumped up about it. Went and chugged, I think it was a diesel.
Ooh.
I think it was a warm diesel. It was something. They sent the I got invited again. Did you get invited?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We can, hopefully you commit. We can get that Friday round going again.
Are we wearing the same uniform?
Oh, yeah. We did all have the same uniform. Yeah. Why not? Let's do it. Run it back.
Hell yeah.
I like how he said Friday and not Thursday there, too.
Yeah, Thursday I'm taking
Well, Friday's a real round. Thursday's the Pro-Am situation. It's not a real round.
Remember, I've been walking on this treadmill to get ready for that.
Yeah. It'll carry over.
If you're playing in the Tahoe thing for the first time, you need to realize it is grueling. On the walking, your feet will get beat up. Your hips are going to be fucked if you've never done it before. We need to give more respect to the golfers that are able to walk their asses 7 miles every fucking day and then hop back out there and do it again. Don't wear brand new J's, golf shoes.
Definitely not.
That's not the right play either. I had blisters on the back and the bottom of my feet.
Yeah.
Before the tournament even started, that happened. That was for the charity round on Thursday, which I was told, gotta walk it, gotta get used to it, everything like that. You don't. Take a card on that particular day as well. But I'm gearing up for Tahoe to be the best me possible, and PGA 2K is helping me. Now, let's talk about NFL teams hiring head coaches. We got a list of questions that Chuck put together here that are potentially asked in these head coaching interviews. Worth a listen to.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you to this point in your career? Standard interview part, I think. That's standard stuff. What would you say is your leadership management philosophy? How long does that one normally take? That's got to be a good 20, 30-minute conversation right there.
Yeah, especially if, they want to give theirs before. Like if Jim starts sharing a little bit of his.
What would he say?
No, we don't need to get into that.
Long
We don't have
bathroom
time.
break.
No, it might, but no, that could go a while.
A lot of these are pretty open-ended. What is your vision? I mean, that's
about as open-ended as it gets.
And if you don't give a thorough answer there, do they think you're kind of opting out and cheating it a little bit, potentially? How do people get to work? How do you get people to work together and buy into one vision for the team? Once again, this is a full 10 to 15-minute answer that you probably have to give.
Well, remember us, it was in the team room, right? It's team, right? Team first, self second, serve others. We had our core values, but you share the vision. You said vision, right? You share your vision. You talk about your culture, what your identity is going to be, and then you have to rally. You have to be able to inspire and motivate and bring an organization, a locker room, a football team, whoever's left, because they're taking over, not, teams that have done bad.
Yeah.
You remember the locker room I stepped into, right?
Yeah, we're
Everybody
ranked
was gone,
32
right?
out of 32
Right.
that year. Would you keep the current staff? That's a question that Sean Payton's going through right now. D'Amico's going through. Coaching staff hires / candidates if you were to hire new people. What does being a player's coach mean to you? Oh, AJ, that's a big one there.
Chuck, could you ever come back and be like, hey, that's a stupid question. I'm not even going to answer it? Would they appreciate your honesty?
I mean, if you really wanted that job, I don't think you would do that,
Who's all in here?
But you could give certainly, you could reframe it, to your point.
I'm just wondering, how do you not
Hey,
sound
you
like
could-
one of these, like an internet guru? How do you not sound like an internet person that tries to inspire people and be all cliche about it?
Or do you need to sound like that?
Yeah.
I hope not.
So what you do is when they ask you a question, then you can go on a diatribe, if you will, or you could just share a lot of stuff and talk for a long time and try to cover as many of the questions and many of the bases you can as far as your vision, what your culture is going to be, your identity, your staff, and just kind of go and hopefully answer a bunch of the things that they have, so you may not have to, answer a question that you may think is like, where'd you come up with this thing?
Who's all in the room normally?
So usually, there's so much virtual now. You see these people interviewing so many people that, the first week, they're doing all these virtuals, and so there's, who knows who's on that one. But when it comes down to it and the nitty gritty and you're going to make a decision, owner's going to be in there, general manager for sure, maybe a COO. There might be somebody else within the organization. It might be like a head trainer. It might be like Brian Decker, somebody, anybody who's got a seat at the
Who's Brian
table.
Decker? I don't think I know Brian Decker.
He's like the mental guy over there at the Colts.
Oh, okay.
So there's got to be some people. You might have if you have a guy like David, a player engagement guy. Just you want to put as many guys and eyes on this guy as you can. So when he leaves the building, what'd you think? What'd you think? What's your perception? What's your idea of this guy? So you can get as many people rather than just. The guys that are going to make the decision are going to make decision, but you'd like to get as much feedback as you can.
Do you think the players have to? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, they should have Frog. Should run this guy down.
That's not a bad idea. That's equipment manager. Do you think the players have to like you? Do you want them to like you? Oh, here we go. How do you gain respect of the players or the staff? How do you turn a losing attitude around? How do you integrate tradition, D-Butt? How do you integrate tradition? That's a great question. That's an impossible thing to answer.
Especially coming in as a new coach. It's tough. I don't know.
Educate him on you got to educate him on the history and the tradition of this great franchise. That's what
When I went to Chicago with Matt Nagy, one of the first meetings when the players came back and the new players, that's all he did was talk about George Stanley Hallis, Virginia Hallis, who's in the building. So he educated them to AJ's point of the history and rich tradition, and he made the guy. It's like those players, AJ Brown. I got to learn the fight song for the Eagles, right? He didn't know it, but that's part of the deal. If you really want them to, live and breathe and die with that tradition, they got to learn stuff like that.
Bill kind of did that with the players that you were currently playing with as rookies. I know for coming in, like you had to know. Like fucking Matt Light, who he is. Like he that was a big thing for him. Not necessarily, the Steve Grogren or, those guys. You were learning about that being there. But that was from the first time you came into a meeting room, you'll have certain pictures of certain players around the room. And you definitely need to know your teammates.
So remember what Ted did? Monachino.
Okay.
Like when he came in, and it was mostly for the young players. But he would highlight some of the players in the room, like Robert Mathis.
Yep.
And he would talk about what they've done, how long they've been there, all the numbers that he had, the type of teammate he was, type of player, and then show a highlight tape of him. And then he would do it with Pat just to build the tradition of the defense.
I remember Ted
Freeney,
Monachino.
Freeney, he did Freeney, he'd do Mathis, all the former greats. Gary Brackett.
Oh, Gary Brackett, GB. What a legend that guy was. Is there a key ingredient to a championship team besides talent? That's a great question. Player leadership, do you think it is natural or can it be developed? And how? That's a tough fucking. Do you just say situations or situational there, AJ? I mean, how do you even?
I would say that for a lot of these questions, you might have to say situations or situations.
How about this competitiveness? Do you think it's natural or do you think it can be developed? I mean, I don't fucking know.
You could go on for days for every one of these questions.
How do you motivate? Give examples. All right. How do you discipline? Give examples. How do you handle benching a player, especially when it's a high draft pick? And can you do that? I think is the follow-up right there, Chuck.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. It can be handled a lot of different ways, and you can answer that one in a lot of different ways. And you can try to give an example. If you got an example of a guy that you worked with, a former coach, and this is how they did it, and this is how I do it.
Jeez. How do you build confidence with your players? If you praise in public, do you criticize in public? Ooh. What do you look for in a player? How do you handle crisis situations? How do you handle first-time offenders? What does accountability mean to you?
That's a good one.
AJ? What does accountability mean?
Good. I want to ask Chuck, how did you prepare to go in and have one of these head coaching interviews? What do you do?
You remember me talking about, my the time that I had to come here for this interview? We just got off that, championship game, and it wasn't, 15 hours later that pretty much on a plane going. I was scrambling to try to get a notebook together. Okay, what do you think I'm going to need? Well, they're going to want to know, okay, what's your yearly book, all right? So training camp, what's your training camp schedule? What's a typical practice plan look like? What are the preseason games going to be like? How are you going to play the players in the preseason? So you try to go a calendar year and have a book set on all that stuff. And then you talk about, be ready for, if it's a specific team, obviously, okay, where are they at? Where are we at with quarterback? We know Peyton Manning had the neck, didn't play. What's the future look? Obviously, we had luck. It was there in the draft. So you have to know their roster. You have to be able to talk about their roster. The changes you'd make. Would you keep this guy? Would you get rid of this guy? All these issues that these guys are coming into with, especially the quarterback. You better have answers, for the big ones.
When you're putting that plan together, you reach out to former head coaches you know, or like is that just your agent helping you out with that? Like who helps you put that?
You try to have a plan. Most of these guys now have an agent and have these books growing, and and guys that have been around. I basically just like Harbaugh got the Baltimore job.
Yep.
He brought like the Andy Reid book with him, how they practiced, when they practiced, who did what. So that book was together. So I'm scrambling everything that he had, what I was familiar with, what I had done for the last 4 years. And so we just kind of, it's a copycat league. You just kind of bring those in there and say, this is how we're going to do it. And then when you have to adjust, you adjust.
Did you have to have your coordinators and everything already? Like, did they ask you that, or because you were going in and BA and all of them were still there?
No, this was so quick. They were just trying to get to know me and get a feel for who I was.
Yeah.
And mostly that type of thing. But now you have to have an idea when they bring you in there. Like when I interviewed at some other spots, who's going to be OC?
Yeah.
If you don't get him, who's B? Who's plan B? Who's number C? So you better be 3-4 deep at each position, especially at the coordinator spots.
Discuss one of the best decisions you have ever made. Is that life or football?
Married Tina.
There you go. What keeps you up at night? Here's a question. What keeps you up at night? Are there any decisions you regret? Can also use as failure answer. What is your weakness? Where can you improve? Well, I work too hard.
Yep.
Yeah,
Care too much. Care too much. Work too hard. Yeah.
That's obviously what it is. What are the specific traits that make you qualified to be a head coach? I feel like that matters. What was your first thought when you heard you were being considered for the head coaching position? I was so excited, wasn't I? I was so excited, so pumped, thankful, honored, the whole thing.
Humbled by the whole deal.
Well, what makes you the best candidate for this position? What makes you different or better than any other candidate for this position? What a question. What a series of events. That could go on for 10, 12 hours, I guess.
For multiple interviews.
And if you don't give a full answer, they think you're copping out of it. It's an interesting game.
I got a question though, Chuck. Does Chuck know of anyone like getting outside of the box and trying to really learn what a guy's like? What if they said, "Hey, let's go play 18 holes," and you play golf with the GM or some of the decision makers? Does that ever happen?
So great story.
Great.
Cap, the old coach, quarterback that was head coach at Cal, way back when, Joe Cap. You guys remember this guy?
Yeah. No.
Sure.
Yeah.
You bet.
Okay, so great competitor,
Yeah.
war daddy, tough as hell. Played for the Vikings, I believe, if you look it up. Somebody,
Oh,
Zito,
Joe
help me
Cap.
with that.
Joe Cap.
So he's the head coach of the Cal Bears.
Cap.
And a guy that I worked with, John Goff at Boise State, 1987, 88. He was our DC.
Jerry.
He worked for Joe. He went on an interview, offensive line coach. So he goes in there, he sits down with Joe, shakes his hand. He's in his office. He said, "Hey, blah, blah, blah." They're in there 2 minutes, and he says, "Did you bring some gear?" He's like, "Excuse me, coach?" He goes, "Did you bring some workout gear?" He goes, "Yes, sir." He goes, "Go get dressed." Next thing they know, they were on a basketball court, and they were playing one-on-one.
Yes.
And it was all to figure out if this guy had toughness, was a competitor, what his grit was like. That was that.
This is what Sirianni would do if you had an
That's
opportunity.
what they should do.
Love that.
I think it's not a bad idea.
Yes.
I think that's when you can really see if people respond. Are you just sitting down in this room and everybody's staring at you, or how does it normally go?
That's it. Just like this. Here I am.
Kind of like the combine.
I was going to say the stories that are coming out of Cleveland about the guys who go and do their entire pre-draft thing.
What's that?
I think it was Ben Watson, and there was one other guy, and they basically had one person basically like sitting across the table from Chuck, if Chuck was the player, spotlight on this one dude, head coach, GM, owner, in like a dark corner of the room, and they're asking this guy like, "Have you ever done drugs before? You ever smoked dope before?" And just to see what his reaction was.
Could you imagine? Yeah, I have. Thank you. You guys could just sit here.
Yeah.
You guys, like, to your point, though, if you give, like, an honest answer, will they respect it or hate it?
I lied.
They should know the answer before they ask it, though.
I lied.
Well, you heard the one where they went up and grabbed the guy's wrist, right?
See his pulse to
So
see
do
if
you,
it
you ever
changed
smoked
after
dope?
that. Yeah.
And the guy started dropping his, as soon as they dropped their eyes, no, I've never done that. Like, okay. He goes, no. Pull up. Give me your hand. Give me your wrist. I was reading a book on a plane trip over here. It's telling me about, when you're lying, look me in the eye. Let me see your eyes. Pupils dilate and your heartbeat quickens. He had him by the wrist.
I'm nervous, coach.
Who was this, an owner, a coach, a GM?
I don't know. That's what the story is. I don't know who was doing the interview and who was asking that question, but that's how they did, old boy.
That's amazing.
Unbelievable.
Because to your point, AJ, which, like, I wonder if you were to tell him, like, what does accountability look like to you? It's like, what's the situation? What happened? Who went where? Who decided to do it? How did we draft this person? How much money did we pay this person? Who did we not know this person was potentially going to have this type of effect on the team whenever we got them? Like, there's so many just like realistic answers to all these things that I assume if you were to give those answers, you'd get kicked right out of the room. Is that what we assume? Are these all fake right answers you're giving for all these things?
Hey, look, these scouts go to these campuses and they've been in there and they've watched these guys from freshman, sophomore, so they know these guys. They know the red flag. You can waste the entire 15 minutes on something that is stupid as hell, rather than figuring out, okay, what's this guy's football character and what's his football IQ.
No, I agree. But in the interview for the head coach, like, there's a lot of shit in here. Like,
yeah,
there's so many situations. Like,
candid answer.
how do you handle?
That's what they want to know, I guess. They want to know how would Chuck separate himself from other candidates? Like, I guess how you interpret the question and how you answer it. That's what they're trying to figure out. But if they're going 10, 12 hours, I'm not interviewing many people.
How do you turn around a losing attitude? It's like, I don't know.
Can I ask you one?
Who do we lose to?
Here's one owner. Can I ask you this one?
Yeah.
Okay, one owner asked potential head coach this. He said, okay, first 100 hours on the job, what are you going to do with them?
What is this, like first 100 days of presidency?
I like that question.
I'm going to hope that you would invest a little bit more money in that locker room so we don't look like an amateur league. That's what I would do in the first hour or two. Then I'm walking right down to the general manager's office, and I'm saying, we need this guy off this team, we need this guy on this team, and we need this guy on this team. That's an interesting thing. 100 hours, what's that, 4 days?
Yeah.
First 4 days. Well, I'm probably going to move into my office.
Yeah, right.
Get my family out here.
Yeah, figure out where I'm living.
Got to get a little bit better water pressure. I'm a big dumper, so don't want to be
So
clogging
the first things
toilet.
come to your mind, okay, like staff, right? You're going to spend a lot of time, like you talked about staffs. Okay, are they going to keep guys? So you got to sit down and interview who's there. They're going to give you, if they give you the job, they're going to say, we'd really love you to talk to Coach A, B, C, and D. You don't have to keep them, but please talk to them. Guys that are still there, they haven't let go. This guy's really good. We'd love you to, so you're going to spend time doing that. But really what it comes down to is, like, there's 53, 60, whatever there is on the roster, futures, practice squad guys, is this owner's opinion was the way I'd do it, because there's a lot of ways to go about that, like you were thinking, is I'd spend the first 60 hours getting to know my teammate, my players. I'd try to spend an hour
Sharpen the axe
with each guy and start to build that relationship with the roster, with the players.
When Tom McMahon got hired to be the special teams coach, this was before it was announced publicly, I had a nice text message from him, and I had to Google who the fuck he was. And he did. He spent like his first 4 days probably just literally messaging me and I think Vinatieri, just being like, hey, we're going to be on the same page, you and I. You and I are going to be on the same page. I think that's a smart play. That's the right answer, Chuck.
But you think about like McDaniel, right? What they publicized when he got the Miami job, right? His first phone call once they hired him was to who?
Tua.
Sorry.
And started to build that relationship.
That was only 30 minutes, though. I mean, there's still 99 hours.
Yeah, true.
It's a lot of time. Are you going to sleep ever in there, too? I don't know.
Well, he had to put together that highlight tape for him. That took what?
That probably
7
took
hours?
a couple days.
Was it 100 plays or whatever he said?
700, I thought, or something.
Yeah, something crazy.
He was probably vaping, smoking some doobies, that kind of stuff.
What was your take on that? Was he really?
Nah, we thought it was a marker.
Yeah, Sharpie.
We thought it'd be cool, though, if he was just fucking smoking pretty much on the
like
sideline. Like, I'd be a big fan of that play. A little deeper thinker, slow the game down a little bit. But I think it was a marker. I think he was just...
It wasn't cold enough to where you had the natural steam coming out, right? From the cold air.
It was.
No, it was. Yeah, it was
So
bubbles.
if you're ever going to maybe get away with it, it'd be a day in Buffalo.
I like to imagine he did it, but
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because I think he would be a guy that would do it.
exactly.
They lost, what, the last 8 games of the year?
Something like that.
Dolphins.
Their whole thing was like
7?
3-0.
No, they won
0-4.
Or did they win the last
They
game
won
of
the
the
last
season?
one to get in.
Yeah,
7 of 8.
They beat the Jets. I think they
it's a
went.
Sharpie.
I think they started like
Sharpie. He does hit the shit out of that thing.
My last head coach in college, you remember how it used to be, right?
Oh, yeah, we
He
used to
called the plays, smoked cigs right on the side, right in the quarterback.
Jim Leland.
Yes.
So
we had a guy, our D coordinator, who I believe was one of the founders, literally one of the founding fathers of the Tampa 2, was Jim, Larry
Larry Coyer.
Larry Coyer.
Pipe.
Yes.
I worked for Larry. Love Larry
He smoked
Coyer.
a pipe?
in the build. Like, you'd smell this motherfucker.
It smelled so good. Pipes smell amazing.
This dude in practice, like, just sneaking outside the wall. Like, we had obviously the indoor facility, and he would just hold the door open, and he would smoke this pipe, and that thing was coming right into the indoor facility. This is the middle of practice. I'm like, this guy's awesome. Yeah, there he is.
Holy shit. He's our defensive coordinator at East Carolina. Bobby Babich, who was at Buffalo for a long time, head coach of North Carolina State or North Dakota State. So his son is the coach up there, DB coach. So he was smoking in the new facility, ECU, right? Head coach comes in, Steve Logan. Larry, you can't smoke in the building. Excuse me.
That's what happens.
He's like, I'm going to smoke in this building, bub. It's either me smoking or I'm out of here. Shut the door. He smoked as much as he wanted.
Yeah, I think that's kind of his thing.
Steve, he was like, he was awesome. You talk about a great bulk. This was old school. Throwback, tough as frickin' nails.
The way he walked was awesome. Everything about him. But I think he was one of the founding fathers of Tampa too, right?
You know Freddie Puggich?
Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. That's
Freddie
all I remember.
Puggich? You know Freddie,
I coached
right?
with him. I coached with him, Chuck, for my son's team last year. I coached with his son and Big Fred. Yeah.
So he was there at Ohio State with
dip on everybody.
Puggich. Larry was. And so he comes to ECU, and first thing he does, he puts us all in a van. So we're going to Ohio State and watch football with them, learn football. So we drive from Carolina, Greenville, North Carolina, up to Columbus. Get there, get out of the car. Another thing, you brought your gear, right? Is you love to play racquetball. And me and Larry would go at it, try to kill each other in the racquetball court. He said, Bo, he had to play. We got murdered too. So it was special teams Stock was his last name, and Fred Puggich. First thing we did when we got there was no ball, right to the racquetball court. Doubles deal, beat their ass, and then we started watching.
Hey, that's what we're talking about. That's awesome. That's fantastic. Thank you for a little insight into it. Just like you've been giving us all year on the mind of a coach, we can't thank you enough for this. You can see how these meetings could go a long time. Long time.
Yeah, really. I mean, Chris Ballard, I feel for him right now.
Yeah. I am not supposed to be I'm not supposed to be a coach. It's not in my trait, in my DNA. 23andMe told me that, and also I've just learned that from watching coaches and what their schedule is and everything like that. I am not supposed to be one of those guys. It would be hard for me to take this serious with some of these questions that are being asked. It would be hard for me not to be like, what the fuck does that even mean? Well, how do you blah, blah, blah. It's like, what happened? How did we – I need about 10 other lead-ups to how we got to that point, because who knows how that – and then I assume at that point they'd start firing out situations. Well, here's a hypothetical. Here's a hypothetical. And then you just got to roll through those. It's like – this is a long time, a lot of conversation. It's a multi, I don't want to say million, but it is. This is a huge investment for teams. Who's going to be the head coach? And a lot of teams have gotten it wrong. How much? $600 million? $800 million is being paid to coaches that have been fired in the NFL this year, still being paid out. Matt Rule's trying to make it $805. Hey, right. I don't know if it's going to happen. I honestly don't know if it's going to happen with the way Tepper operates, but I do know, Chuck, we are thankful for you, pal.
Hell yeah.
We have some breaking news coming out of the city of Pittsburgh. The Heinz bottles are returning to Acrisure Stadium.
Wow.
Acrisure Stadium, formerly known as the Heinz Stadium, and it had been that way for a long time. Obviously, Heinz ketchup in the Heinz factory was synonymous with the city of Pittsburgh, not only because it's by far the superior ketchup on earth, but because it was also a massive sponsor to a lot of things around the city of Pittsburgh, not only for business ventures, but also philanthropy and giving back to the city. They've since moved out of Pittsburgh, and then they were no longer the sponsor for the stadium in which the Steelers played. We all wondered, as Yinzers, Heinz even care about Pittsburgh anymore? Whoa. Then they had the red zone. Now, Rooney has announced that there will be a Heinz gate in which you can walk through the Heinz bottles that have been absent for a year at Acrisure. This is a win.
Huge
the
win.
City of Pittsburgh. Tone Diggs, your thoughts on the Heinz bottles making their return? Does this mean that maybe next year get back to the playoffs?
I think that's exactly what it means. And I had, some ill will towards Heinz.
Me too.
After what happened. But I've learned to accept what happened and accept kind of what happens in the business world. But I mean, there's still a lot of Heinz. There's still the PPG building. They still have the Heinz Museum and the Heinz Lofts and stuff like that. So there will always be a place, at Acrisure Stadium for the Heinz bottles because it's still the Heinz Red Zone and it's still the Heinz Gate. And I think we're going to let bygones be bygones. And because, I mean, it is a superior product with 57 different flavors. And the other options are just horrible, like absolutely fucking horrible. It's probably why the Colts are so terrible, to be honest. I thought it was a roll goal. Or
red gold in the stadium.
So bad, dude.
That does seem a little, generic.
Think about whenever you get one of those little tiny little packets of ketchup that has half a in it, and then you see it's red gold too. So it's not only is it just a little, it's also a shitty flavor.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, so I got to work through this thing.
This is big.
For the other side of this to not be good. And then I got to do this, 50 more times?
At least.
To get this to anywhere amount that I would like. And then you try it, and it's like, this tastes like shit. But it is ketchup, I guess.
Yeah.
Shout out to Heinz Bottles making their return home. Is this going to scare other teams, you think, going into Acrisure yet again, AJ Hawk?
I would imagine guys would be shaking in their boots if they see those Heinz bottles back. But also, where did they store these things for the year? Those are giant.
I think they're down there at the museum.
Yeah.
Hanging out.
Down there at the
They're
museum.
down there at
Take a photo.
down there at Andy Warhol Museum.
That one looks like it's hanging itself from outside the stadium.
It does.
Is everything okay with this Heinz bottle? Is it all right? Somebody check in on this thing, and we will certainly keep an eye on the situation. Congrats to Heinz getting back in there.
Huge one.
Huge. Absolutely huge.
Could you imagine?
Wasn't it always still Heinz Field at Acrisure Stadium?
No, that would have been a sweet idea, though.
They had like the Heinz zone, I thought.
Like game.
Acrisure actually said, are they going to pay this amount of money? No, didn't think so. Get them the fuck
Get
out of
those
the
bottles
stadium.
like we saw it at KC last week. What is it? Geha Field at
GEHA.
Yeah.
Correct.
I forget the promo that Chris Jones cut.
What do they do?
I don't know.
It is just GEHA Field, though. I don't know if it even stands for anything because that's what Nance kept saying.
Oh, so I thought it was the name of the company. I didn't know it was an acronym.
I don't think it's an acronym. I think
GEHA. The only reason why I know this, Frank Clark or Chris Jones said it in the interview afterwards.
Oh, it's an insurance company.
Yeah, I would assume, just like Acrisure is.
Not as good as Acrisure.
Paycor is what? Paycor is with Cincinnati?
Paycor is a bottom tier time management and HR company.
Time management? What do they do?
Like when you punch a time clock and stuff like that, clock in, clock out. ADP is the vastly superior company to Paycor.
Did you used to work for ADP?
6 years.
How much shit did you talk on Paycor?
Didn't have to.
Oh, everybody knew.
Didn't have to.
Heinz and red gold.
When you pay 1 out of every 6 employees in the country, you don't have to.
Talking about ADP?
Yeah,
It's because of your hard work. Did they ever thank you?
they did many times.
All right.
Okay.
All right, before we get out of here, Chuck, we need you to go ahead and win something for the people.
Yeah.
Darius was able to win 15 people $500 earlier because he threw a dart into the middle hole of that net right over there. Chuck, what are you thinking about doing this particular time, pal? Net? Hoop?
How many shots do I got?
Well, that says 4, but you can throw the rugby ball and also
I got 5.
Fire those things into one of the holes.
Just need one.
5, and there's this
Ooh,
one.
the vortex.
You got like
Throw
6.
the vortex.
The hoop or the trash can?
What do you want to do?
A couple at each.
We should probably move Jabba out of the way just in case.
He's trying.
Look at Jabba, by the way. Hey, great season,
Good job, Jabba.
Baby Jabba.
Great season, Jabba.
Stick tap.
Done a great job. Use it a lot. All right, Chuck, what are you going for? All right, the
Come on,
hoop, which is
Chuck.
the most difficult shot in the gym.
By far.
In the entire Thunderdome. Chuck says that don't matter. What does adversity mean to me, you ask? Adversity means battling through leukemia in one season.
What?
Battling a broken fucking back.
What?
Battling through whatever you need. Choosing the hardest shot to get 15 people, $500 who retweet this video. Say something nice to somebody and put their cash tag in the same reply so we can pay you officially on Cash App. Bonus ball. Bonus ball. Bonus ball. Bonus ball. Bonus ball. Bonus ball. Bonus ball.
Yeah, get that thing.
Close to the pin.
Yeah, grab it.
All right, step in Jabba's house. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the program here. Chuck Pagano will attempt to win 15 people. 5. Oh.
Good ball.
There's a chance. 15 people win 500. Oh. There's a chance 15 people win 500.
Oh, man. Keep it going on the hoop. You're right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, if Chuck Pagano can make this shot for the first time, last time, 500.
Garbage can. Garbage can.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chuck Pagano.
Yeah, there we
host
go.
Of,
There we go.
Coach P's Keys.
Oh, bonus ball, bonus ball, bonus ball,
bonus ball, bonus ball, bonus
That
ball.
was an accurate pass.
Oh, no,
Hit
no,
that
no,
air
no,
miss.
no, 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 no,
Hit him right between the numbers.
That was right. That was a hell of a thread of bear.
Oh, no, bonus ball, bonus ball.
Bonus ball.
Dual bonus
bonus
balls.
ball, bonus ball.
Might as well grab all of them.
Murder ball, murder ball.
Guys can't finish like this.
Hey, Bill, how about that ball? How about that ball, Bill?
Bill.
Hey, Bill, you're
Billy
close.
Picks,
Bill,
Billy
bonus ball,
Picks.
bonus ball.
Here you go, Chuck.
Billy Picks.
Oh, Billy toss.
Nice one-handed grab. I thought I was going to have to catch that. Old man says I got it. Ladies and gentlemen, Chuck Pagano can make this throw into the trash can. 15 people. Hey! $500. Retweet this video. Say something nice to somebody and put your cash tag in the same reply so we can pay you efficiently. Big shout out to Chuck Pagano, Darius J. Butler, Ian Rappaport, AJ Hawk, and the boys. We'll be back tomorrow for a Feel Good Friday. Be a friend, tell a friend. Something nice. Goodbye. Way to go, Chuck.
Yeah.